Scott Porter is the man of many talents. Entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur, and book writer.
Soon to be
book writer.
Yeah,
we'll talk
about that.
We'll talk about that.
Talk about that.
Yeah, and he's the man about tacos, and here we are on Taco Tuesday.
Taco Tuesday, happy Taco Tuesday, everyone.
Happy Taco Tuesday with no tacos. I should have brought tacos for us while we were waiting, getting everything set up.
It's okay, man.
So, but
we have a lifetime of Taco Tuesdays.
We most certainly
to make
do.
It up.
I'm excited about that. So let me pull up actually some of your information here. But Scott, my brother Matt is our producer here, and he asked some questions about where you're from, and you said you had some good insights on that. So what's
good insights on where I'm from?
On where you're from, a good story.
Oh,
so
man.
what have you got going on?
So I found out I was Canadian when I was like 28 years old. So it was. I was actually born in America. I was born in Arizona, in Flagstaff.
Oh, okay.
And I lived there till I was 2. I don't remember anything. But then my dad's from Canada, and so we moved up to Canada for 11 years. And so fast forward, I'm 28 years old now, living on my own in Seattle, and I go to get on the plane to go to Ryan's wedding. One of my best friends, Ryan, and he was getting married in Calgary. Well, in Alberta.
Yeah.
And flew into Calgary. And this was like, I know this is dating me big time, but this was pre 9/11. And so I had my roommate drop me off at the airport. I raced in, I'm always cutting it a little bit too close when it comes to airlines.
Yep, same here.
And
really bad.
not a good habit.
Oh, that's why I choose the smaller airports.
Right. Well, that's wise. This was SeaTac. So I walk up to
not small at all.
Not small. And she says, "Can I see your passport?" And I'm like, "My passport? I mean, what do I need my passport for? I'm going to Canada." And at the time, like all of my previous life experience, whenever we moved from or we traveled between the United States and Canada, you didn't even have to show an ID to cross the border on land.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even think that I needed my passport.
Now I think you do, right?
Yeah.
You need like
now
a passport or some
totally.
Okay.
And so didn't even think about it. And so I went to and I'm like, it would have been great to have known this.
Yeah.
Like I had no clue that I needed my passport to fly to Canada. She's like, I have to get on this plane. I need to be at this wedding. Is there anything else I can do? And she says, well, if you get me a copy of your passport page or your birth certificate, if you fax that to me, fax, right? Remember that? Mm-hmm. And she said, I can let you on the plane. So I'm like, okay, whatever. It's like middle of the day. I go to the payphone. Mm-hmm. Remember those?
Yep.
And I go and I call my mom. And this was back in the days when you just like pray that they answer because no one had a cell phone. And so I call and hey, Mom, I'm so glad you answered. So I'm at the airport. I'm going to Ryan's wedding. I need to get on the plane, and I forgot my passport. Can you fax over the birth certificate? And she's like, well, what do you need that for? Just tell them you're Canadian. And I'm like, but Mom, I'm not. And she says, yes, you are. And I'm in the payphone. Like, I don't even, Mom, what do you mean I'm Canadian? I was born in Arizona. And she's like, yeah, I know. I was there. And I'm like, okay, like what else is going on? Is there some other, I'm like having this identity crisis in the phone booth. I don't even know who I am anymore, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, is dad still my dad? Yeah. Like what's going on?
Was I adopted?
Right. And what?
Like it's not if she was there for the birth, but
yeah. And I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, I've registered all of you as dual citizens. I'm like, Mom, I'm 28 years old. Why are you telling me this for the first time in my life? It's like everyone knows this. I'm like, okay, we got to talk about this later. I don't even know who I am anymore. But can you please fax that over? So she faxes it over. I go back up to the ticket counter, and I'm like, turns out I'm Canadian.
Wow.
And she's like, what? She looked at me.
She
weird.
didn't believe you.
Yeah.
She wouldn't
I'm
believe. I mean, that's
I'm
like you
check
just
your
saying
facts
it.
machine. Check your facts. And so anyway, she let me on the plane. And anyway, that's how I found out that I am a dual citizen.
Wow.
So there you go.
That's cool.
A little bit of an identity crisis for a minute, but we got over it.
So now, can you still travel freely between the two countries without a passport, or
No, you still have to have a passport.
Yeah.
Either passport. So depending on whichever one you want to use.
Interesting. Hey, I'm gonna test out. Do you think maybe it's this? Was it doing the beeping when you were plugged in?
Yes.
It was okay.
Yeah.
When it wasn't plugged in.
When I heard it.
Oh, you heard it? Okay. All right. I was just trying to like see if there's anything that would be different, but nonetheless, dude, that's freaking awesome. I think one of the things that so I met you when you gave a presentation at Savvy's Founder Pod.
Yeah.
And in fact, I recorded you on video. And the recording quality probably will be better than this one.
No, you did a great job. Yeah, thank you.
But you gave a lot of stuff that actually really inspired me. And one of the things that I told you, I was like, yeah, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. And you're like, oh, dude. I mean, I don't think you said dude because I don't think you say dude, but do you
probably
say dude?
did say dude.
Okay, but
Yeah,
you're like,
there's
oh,
a
that's so
really
great.
good
Let's talk. I was like, okay, well, if I do it, I'm going to put you as my first guest. And here you are.
Here we are.
So
not even that was like a little over a month ago. Well, I guess almost
maybe
2 months ago.
2 months ago. Yeah.
Well done.
Thanks.
Way to
Thanks.
hustle and grind and get it done.
Well, there's still a lot more to do. I've had this equipment, the audio equipment, for over a year now.
Okay.
And I've used it for other projects
Sure.
like family history stuff and a kind of another podcast that we tried to start.
Sure.
But now I'm like, no, dude, I'm gonna do
do
this.
it full
I'm gonna
force.
do this. And when I committed with you, I was like, oh, we're starting it. Like this is it. Scott's coming in a week and a half. I got to get this going.
I work always well with deadlines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Give me a
Literally,
deadline,
the second
right?
camera showed up like an hour and a half before you showed
I
up.
love it, man.
So,
I love it.
Yeah. So it's good. But
That kind of reminds me. I mean, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say it reminds me similar when we started the churro business, San Diablo Churros.
Yeah, please.
Artisan Churros.
I wanna hear it.
It was kind of similar, almost very, very similar in the sense that we were, let's see. So I was thinking about launching the business and I was like, gosh, how do I wanted to do catering and special events and create like this real experience around churros and not just like a retail shop or I didn't really know that churros aren't really a thing like from a retail perspective yet. I mean, sure, you
outside
grab
of like
one,
state fairs and stuff like
fairs, but they're a novelty purchase, right?
Yeah.
Like you get them at Disneyland when you go. You get them every time you're coming out of Costco if that's your thing. But anyway, so I was like, gosh, I don't know where to launch. And my buddy Chad was like, well, have you heard of Corn Bellies? And I'm like, no, what is that? I was new to Utah after BYU. I'd been away for a while. And he's like, this harvest festival at Thanksgiving Point. And I'm like, okay, great. Awesome. So I looked online. I'm like, maybe this would be a good place for us to be for a solid period of time, like 6 weeks, and then get like that level of exposure and then use that to launch into a catering business.
Nice. Yeah.
And so
6 weeks isn't very long to like test it out.
Well, yeah. I mean, it actually ended up being a great experience for us, like super great, continual like touch points with all of the potential customers and great to like try out all of our product and see what resonated with people. And it was amazing experience. It was a really interesting experience because that's a rough time of the year weather wise. So we were dealing with like thunder and rain and lightning and like I think there was even 1 or 2 days when it like threatened to snow.
Really?
And, I mean it's like all of October. So but anyway, what this reminded me of was how quickly and like express version that we launched the business. I was thinking about it. I called the lady at Corn Bellies and I said, hey, I see online that you're still taking vendor applications. And she says, yeah, that's great. What do you sell? And I'm like, artisan filled churros. And she's like, oh, I love filled churros. I'm like,
What?
Real? Exactly. I
I've
was
never.
like,
I'll be honest. I've never had
no,
one until you offered them.
Exactly. Well, most people haven't unless you've spent time abroad, really,
Or with you.
Or yeah, and so she's like, "Gosh, I love filled churros." I'm like, "Great. Where have you had filled churros before?" I've had them in Mexico. And then she says, "It's been my dream to have gourmet churros at Corn Bellies."
What?
And I'm like, okay.
What the heck?
I'm like, well,
Who is this woman?
Well, baby, your dream's about ready
Yeah.
to come true, you know? And and then she said, "Oh, that's great. Well, how long have you guys been in business?" And I said, "Well, actually, we would be launching at Corn Bellies." Okay, so that was almost literally her response.
Yeah.
I could sense this crazy hesitation.
Yep.
And so she's like,
My dream come true.
quashed it, like smashed to pieces,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And so I said, hence they're sensing the hesitation in her voice. I said, "Okay, look, why don't we do this? I will bring you and anyone that's involved in the decision-making process like a sampling of all of our churro flavors."
Oh, that's cool.
And I'll bring, and then you guys can decide
Yeah.
if you think it would be a good idea for us to launch at Corn Bellies. And she's like, "That's great. This is all over the phone, right? That's great. We're meeting to make the final decision on vendors in 3 days.
Oh wow.
Can you come and give us a sampling for 15 people in 3 days?" I'm like, "Absolutely." Like, what am I doing? And so I hung up the phone and I'm like,
Google how
basically, like I had made the recipe twice. We didn't have a name. We didn't have any equipment.
Wow.
We didn't have any brand or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
And so in 3 days, I had to scramble and figure out, like, at least have an appearance that we were a legit business, right? Like
Yeah.
we had a name, we had like a quasi logo, and like figure out our. And I needed to meet, like the next phone call was with who then became our pastry chef, a dear friend of mine, Mindy Booth. And I'm like, "Mindy, remember how I kind of mentioned that I was thinking about doing a churro business? Well, guess what? I'm launching in 3 days.
doing it.
What are you doing tomorrow? We got to make churros all day long because I got to figure this out." So we did, and it was like, and then it was scramble. But what the big killer was the equipment. And like
Oh,
how
yeah.
to get the right
Yeah.
equipment that had the hole so that you could fill it.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, if you made it thick and it didn't have a hole, wouldn't be cooked in the middle.
Yeah.
It would be like nasty. And so I still remember we were on some corner in Provo after dinner on like with less than 24 hours to before, or maybe it was like 36 hours before we were to launch. And they're like, "Hey, well, I don't know what to do about this equipment." We're like, "Google it. We got to get it on Amazon right now." We find this product on Amazon that for some reason I hadn't found before. And it was this one that had a hole in it it was an extruder that had a hole in the end so that you could make the hollow churros.
Yep.
Well, anyway, so he's like, "Order it now," because it was like an hour before it would get delivered on Monday, which would be the like hours before.
Yeah. Kind of like the camera.
That's
Yeah.
what triggered all of that. Exactly. And so the equipment came, I like had to bypass them and cut them off at the pass at the FedEx station. I said, "Don't put it on the truck because I don't know, maybe it'd get delivered after we actually had to do the presentation." So anyway.
Yep.
That was a really long story, actually.
No, it's good.
It was a crazy, so they love the churros.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Actually, we think that you guys would do so well that you should have 2 booths at Corn Bellies."
What?
And so they're like, "Can you guys have 2 booths?" I'm like, "Absolutely."
You always say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, "Totally. Yeah, we got 2 booths. Easy." So then it just set everything in motion, and so that was almost 3 years ago. So,
Wow. I was going to ask how long ago it was.
Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive. Because
it's mostly crazy.
yes, crazy too.
Mostly crazy.
Mostly crazy. I think part of it is because as a quasi serial entrepreneur, I have too many ideas that I start doing and then I kind of back down because I have insecurities sometimes. But and I think everyone does,
We all do.
But it's kind of like it's that thing that triggers you that says, "Hey, look, I got to do it now." Mm-hmm. Not saying that that's what, hey, my wife's pregnant, I guess I got to do it now. No, not that kind of thing, but it's rather of that you want to do things that can either, one, is a desire for you, two, it makes the world better, or 3, it's a challenge. And I
Yeah.
feel like, and that's kind of the big things that gets me
Yeah.
going about business.
Totally.
Is it's always a challenge.
Yeah.
I do consider myself an introvert that somehow can convince myself to not be an introvert. But same with this. Like I was like, you know what? I need this podcast. I've got to do something
you, yeah.
Yeah, I needed it for myself. So
Yeah, that's great.
You know, because I needed more challenge in my life.
Yeah.
That's the problem. I can never have just one thing to do.
Yeah.
I can't have just a job. I gotta have like 2 other jobs.
Yeah.
So that sounds like, I think, are you doing just churros now? Is that the only thing?
So, in tandem together with the churro business, I am moving forward with all sorts of fun stuff dealing with tacos. Actually.
Oh, okay, good.
So all of my adult life, I've been on this like crazy, relentless search for the perfect taco, and I've led taco tours to Mexico City for years and taken hundreds of friends and executives and coworkers and everything on to find the greatest tacos in Mexico City. Which, by the way, have you been?
To Mexico City?
Yeah.
No, I have not.
Okay, we need to change this. Maybe the next podcast we need to do is in Mexico
in
City.
Mexico City? Hey, that'd be
Dude,
great.
It's so worth it, man. It's like this gem that is, it's only 3.5 hour flight here from Salt Lake City.
No.
And yeah.
3.5
nonstop.
hours?
Yeah. Isn't that
Holy
crazy?
smokes.
And so we are I've been doing that. I've been and I found that there's like some in all of my searching for tacos, I've found that there's actually like some really interesting, amazing, and even transformative simple things that they do at a taco experience
To make it different.
that make it different, but also that make it something that's special where you feel like a VIP. And I was like, and so over the years in the different businesses that I've been involved in, I've used my experience in the taco on my pursuit of tacos to train our team about how to create an experience that is personal and special and unique.
Wow.
And that not only is like world class, but keeps you fiercely loyal to like your favorite taco place.
Yeah.
And so I am using that whole narrative of the search for the perfect taco as this story to teach and basically springboard off of that to really understand the power of brand experience to help each of us thrive in our business, in our life, in our family. How do we create an extraordinary and like a really positive experience with all of the touch points that we have in our lives? And so let me give you an example.
Yeah,
like
please.
I was it's one of my favorites because it's just like textbook awesome. One of my favorite taco places is in East LA is called El Pecas, and it's right on. Do you know East LA? You're nodding like yes.
Well,
like,
I'm actually nodding because I remember you talking about this particular place
Okay,
last
okay.
time, and literally all day I've been like, yeah. I got my hair cut, and people are like, "What are you gonna do today?" I'm like, "I'm starting a podcast," and this guy is a specialist on tacos. And they're like, "Oh, what's the best taco place?" I said, "I don't know what it's called, but it's in East LA." So that's why I'm like, "Yeah,
man, no,
yeah."
that's
So,
awesome.
and they're like, "Okay, well, once you find out what it is,
Bring it back to us."
Yeah, literally, I'm gonna go. She
Text
really
them.
wants me to go back to the haircut place and tell her. I said it, and she goes to San Diego, LA all the time. So.
Oh man, well there are some. So it turns out that
But I know East LA is not a nice place.
No, East LA is great.
Is it East LA or is it West LA?
No. I mean,
Come on. Which
East,
one?
East LA has the fame of being like not the most safe place to be.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's fine.
Yeah.
Like especially like you go the distance and do what you can for food and like there's I mean you're fine.
I've gone to LA only a couple times, and I'm from San Diego. So when I had my
that's Taco Haven.
oh, it's great.
Yeah, that's great.
I hate to say this, but the best taco places are the ones that don't speak English. They just go, they just say
where
what
have
you
you
order.
been in San Diego?
Northern San Diego, Oceanside Vista.
Oh, so, okay.
Yeah. But those places, like the hole in the wall places. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure some of them speak English, but you try talking to them, they're just like, yeah, I don't speak Spanish.
That's okay.
I mean, they're great people, great
Yeah.
passion, and great food. But we were selling. My wife and I had a store coming together, and we sold a family friend in Burbank, or not Burbank. oh gosh, what's the city called near where Six Flags is? But anyway, it's north of LA.
Valencia?
No, not Valencia.
Or Six Flags Magic Mountain?
It's close. Yeah, it's close to it, but it's like even north of it. But
Ventura?
maybe Ventura.
Okay.
Anyway, I'll have to ask her. But nonetheless, we brought our kid with us, and young, and we had to like change her diaper and stuff, and it was East LA, and there was a spot where we're just like, oh man, this is a little sketch, and to get back on the freeway, had to go these back roads and stuff. It was just a little sketchy, but it was really cool because it was like, hey, we're here, you know. This is a cool place.
Man, it's so great. I was like a month ago. I was in LA, and I happened to be driving through East LA on my way to something, and I can't remember where I was going, but I was like, gosh, I was hungry, and I'm like, this is perfect.
Nice.
I'm like, I'm just gonna get off, go down Olympic, and I'm just gonna go until I see the best crowd of people, and that's where I'm gonna eat. And so, sure enough, I just started driving, and there was this amazing, like, pristine taco truck. Birria tacos. Do you know birria?
No.
It's shredded. It's either shredded beef or shredded goat, and it's like marinated and in its sauces and in its broth for, I don't even know, if it seems like days. I mean, it's just like so flavorful. They give you the broth in like this little cup to drink with your tacos. They smother the tacos in, so they're like drenched tacos.
Nice.
So tender, so juicy. Anyway, so I found this truck, huge line. I'm like, that's where I'm going. And then I ate it, and these guys were so amazing and so kind. And then we were like sitting next to people from all over LA and just all sorts of different backgrounds and things. And we were just having the time of our lives. And these tacos were amazing. And I was really happy and really mad because I'd lived in LA for 10 years and I hadn't had these tacos before. I was like, I just kind of felt ripped off. Like, how did I deny myself of this goodness for so long? But I don't know. There's just something about the taco experience that brings people together. I think part of it is eating with your hands. I think there's something really, really raw and like real and natural. And like when you're eating with your hands, there's not. I mean, really, like forks and knives are weapons, right?
Oh,
and
totally.
so you're there, and there's a formality when you're using silverware and things, and you like act a little bit different. But when you're eating with your hands, it's just like pass me the lime and the salsa and like, oh, what are you eating? And like sharing food. And I know not everyone's cool with sharing food. You got like some germaphobe friends, but but there's something really amazing about breaking bread with someone, you know, like eating tacos and getting like dirty, and you're both like, I think food is really a great equalizer, you know, no matter like, and one of the things I loved about Los Angeles in particular is that you'd have like millionaires sidling up to like the janitor at the Marriott next to each other at a taco truck, and you're just like, hey, pass me the limes. What'd you get? Oh, that looks really good. I gotta get that next time.
Yeah.
And, you know, and you're just like, and I joke about this, but I really truly think that tacos could bring about world peace. Like, I'm not joking. I think that if we could just get like the Palestinians and the Jews on a taco tour to Mexico City, like it's like Taco Summit.
Yeah.
That's what we need to make
no pork.
happen.
No pork.
No. Well, which is really unfortunate. Just because the Al Pastor in Mexico City is pork and it's the best on the planet.
Man.
But that's okay.
Yeah.
But there's like everything else you can get there. But you're right. But I just think that there's something, your walls come down, you're real, you can have real meaningful conversations. And anyway, yeah, it's the power of the taco.
That's awesome.
Bring us all together.
I completely agree. You know, and I've always heard the story. I'm trying to think who would say it. It's a friend of mine while at school. You know, he would say, you know, if only you could put all of the leaders' children together and let them play, and then you know the parents just kind of like how, you know, you're at a park, right? And the parents, like, every now and then we'll talk to each other,
Sure.
but the kids are all playing. You know, it doesn't matter what race you are, doesn't matter how intelligent you are, doesn't matter what
your socioeconomic
your
level,
economic
doesn't
levels,
matter.
doesn't matter your past, your potential future. You're just playing, you're having fun. And so I've always kind of gone back and forth of like why that would work and why that wouldn't work. You know, there's sometimes like, yeah, that would be good in theory, but then, you know, and not to derail from tacos, but, you know, I mean, like, you look at the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, like you were talking about earlier, like, man, tacos I do think food will fix anything. I mean,
It's a great. We all eat.
yes,
All of us eat.
and we
have
all
to.
eat good food.
and we all enjoy good food.
Yeah, and that's for sure. I mean, I wasn't in Jordan super long, but I was there about
Oh,
4
wow.
months.
Cool.
And man, food is so important.
That's a place I'd love to go.
Oh, well,
I
how about
haven't
this?
been
I'll
to
take
the
you to
Holy
Jordan.
Land.
You take me to Mexico
Please,
City.
Please.
We'll go to Petra. Petra is freaking amazing, dude.
I know.
It's like
I'd love to go.
like a Disneyland minus all the. I mean, it's expensive to get in.
Yeah.
Jordanians, I think, get in for free, or like for like 1 dinar, but and maybe it's changed since then. But it was really expensive to get in. It's
Wow.
like almost $100, I think.
Wow.
But nonetheless, it
Someday.
was so cool. And I look at photos now, and it just doesn't do justice. You know, I mean that's the
Always.
that's like the downside of when you come back from traveling. You see
Yeah.
you see your photos and videos. You're like, good memories, but it doesn't do it justice when you show it to someone else.
Yeah.
You're like, look at this. This is so beautiful.
That's why I think there's something so powerful about the experience, the
Yeah.
in-person, tangible, like we're breathing the same air, we're experiencing the same sunset, we're looking at the same gorgeous stone carvings, we're like on the camel or whatever
Yeah.
you were on, you
Yeah.
know, like it's like all those noises, all the feeling, it's like the full sensory experience. And I think those are the things that we remember and take with us forever. And
Yeah.
that's what we share
Yeah.
too. So we are like strongly in this transition to an experience economy.
Yeah.
And out of like a transactional economy where you know, and it still happens to us all the time. Like we go to a drive-through and we're like, give them our card or money, and then they give us our food and we're off. You
Yeah.
know, it's just a transaction.
Yep.
And yet you have places like Chick-fil-A, for example, where you know you say thank you, and what do they say? Are you a Chick-fil-A guy?
No.
No. Okay.
I mean, no.
It's okay.
I like
We can still be
Chick-fil-A.
friends.
I like Chick-fil-A. I'm just
Yeah.
not like
You're not
pizzazzed,
avid.
you
Okay.
know? I'm not like, wow, this is the best.
No.
You know?
And it's okay.
Yeah.
But
what do they say? Do they say you're welcome?
No, they don't.
What do they say?
This is their trademark thing. They say it's my pleasure.
Really?
Yeah,
I'll have to- I'll look for
like,
it.
And now,
I'll look
like,
for
say
it.
thank you. I have friends that will say thank you as many times as they can because they just want to hear them say my pleasure.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like off the charts. Like, keep saying it. You know,
That's awesome.
so they
It's kind
say-
of like the telecom phone salespeople. Like if you ever call like HP or something like a big tech company, you know, you're calling the
Yeah.
Philippines or India, and you say thank you. They always have to say you're welcome. So like,
Oh.
thank you so much. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. It's anyway. So yeah, I mean, it's trained
So it's the same
response.
type of thing, but
Yeah.
they've what Chick-fil-A's done is taken a transactional experience and made it as personal or as caring or like just dialed it up a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, they say it's my pleasure. They like offer you extra things if something's wrong with your menu. Like you really feel differently. They have fresh flowers on the table. The manager's out there breading the chicken and bussing the tables. Like that's just what they do. They create this experience that allows them to. The results of that are not just like fierce, loyal following, but better financial results. Like
Right.
the per store revenue results of Chick-fil-A stores like surpass, I think it's like McDonald's, Subway, and Burger King all combined.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy. And they have one
That's crazy.
less day a week that they are also
only
performing.
6 days.
Yeah.
Only 6 days.
And so there's something that Chick-fil-A, for example, is doing right.
Mm-hmm.
And they're realizing that we're humans interacting with humans.
Yeah.
You know, and they look you in the eye. I mean, even if for a second, even if it's like maybe rehearsed the my pleasure or it's like a knee-jerk reaction for them, there's still something that's different about the experience, and you
Yeah.
feel that when you're there.
Yeah.
And so the businesses that are going to continue to win above and beyond others are those that are realizing and embracing experience as a competitive advantage, as like a core part of not just like this is flavor of the month business strategy, but this is like core to our DNA.
Yeah.
You know, this is the Disney way. This is the Chick-fil-A way. This is the Ritz-Carlton way. And or this is the local taco down the street way, you know, like that it doesn't have to be something that's high end.
Yeah.
But if we can return more and more to this, or more to this sense of restoring humanity to the business interaction, and looking people in the eye and smiling and like recognizing, oh, you know, cool. What does your shirt mean? Like even just taking genuine interest in someone as a human.
Oh, totally.
You know, it's like, it's this mentality in Mexico, you know, it's like mi casa, su casa.
Yeah.
You know, like they genuinely like come in.
Yeah.
And when I was in Nepal, it's namaste.
Yeah.
You know, I've spent a couple of, I've been to Nepal a couple of times on humanitarian service trips with Choice Humanitarian and Singular Humanitarian, and like they like live this mentality of namaste, which, you know, there's various translations for it, but this idea of like the divine in me recognizes the divine in you.
Right.
And I'm also doing like a podcast and a video series called Taco Incidents.
Okay.
Nice. where I have conversation with CEOs over tacos about their brand experience and what they've done to create an extraordinary brand experience, and how they've done it, what challenges they've come up against, why they do it, and what impact that it's had on the success of their business.
Interesting. So what would you say? I mean, well, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, the reason I brought it up is because the first episode that I filmed was Binod, and he runs Nepali trekking company, and they take people up to base camp at Everest, and he's been doing it for like 19 years. Like, I mean, white glove service on the top of the tallest mountain in the world. Well, not the top. They don't go to the top. They go to the base.
Yeah.
Or base camp. But like fresh linens, fresh made bread every night on the mountain. Like they're making fresh bread on the mountain. And
that is white glove then.
All of these. I mean,
there.
it's like this amazing experience. And so I was talking to him about what it is that they create and how they create it. And he said something that I'll never forget. And he said, because for us in Nepal, the visitor is God. And I'm like, wow. Like I just got chills thinking about it again. Like it's, I remember when, and it's something I'll never forget. The visitor is God. He said in old times, or not in the too far distant past, he said between when people would travel from village to village in Nepal, they would, you know, nightfall comes and you're walking, because that's what you do. You walk between the villages, and you're walking with your family, and it's night, and you just like knock on someone's door, and you're like, you know, namaste. I'm here with my family. Do you have a place? Can we stay with you? And everyone would let strangers stay with them.
Wow.
All the time.
Wow. That reminds me,
and he said,
I think, go ahead.
No, he's just like, because for us, the visitor is God. So
Yeah.
if God knocked on your door, oh, of course.
Yeah.
Like you let God in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so like what, and I've reflected so much on that. Like how that should change the way that I interact with every human being.
Yeah.
If I saw every human being as a deity, if I saw like, and then like, what about business? Like we've veered so far off that people are objects.
Yeah. They're numbers. They're stats.
People are numbers.
They're money.
Yeah.
How much money can I make off this
exactly.
person?
And so imagine how transformative it would be if each of us in our business, whether we're at whatever level we're at in business, if we treated other people as if that person in front of us were a deity.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that'd be incredible. I mean, the ancient Greeks used to do that as well. Because they had so many gods, they used to. When people were traveling, they go. I mean,
Sure.
Isn't it people? I mean, I'm sure sometimes people said, "I am." Yeah, I'm not. I don't know too many.
I'm Hercules.
I'm Hercules.
Or,
or, you know, I don't know any
Venus
gods.
or what are some of the? I mean, I can need
Aphrodite,
to brush
something
up
like
on
that.
my.
Greek mythology.
We were
It's
just
been a
playing
while.
HQ last night, and Minotaur came up, and I'm like, I have no
No.
idea how I remembered that. But, yeah.
Well, it's funny. HQ. I stopped playing that. Not to change the subject too much, but I stopped playing that because I'm like, man, I'm never gonna win.
No. Or you
But
like,
it's fun.
Yeah,
It's fun.
Yeah, it is.
Is Scott still hosting that?
Yeah,
The-
except my favorite is what's his name? Matt is funny. I think it's Matt. That's his handle on Instagram.
Interesting. Okay.
He's hysterical.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But
So anyway,
yeah. Anyway, so the Greek gods are, I mean, the same idea. It's like, hey, you just don't know if this traveler is a god.
right?
You just
Could
don't
be.
know. And so, of course, I mean, especially you don't want to be cursed. Especially those gods. The Greek gods were very well known for cursing the people. So as well, we got to treat them very well. But I think also, I think it wasn't just that. I'm sure the ancient Greeks had also a sense of respect for each other,
Yeah.
because of that,
Yeah.
because of a lot of other factors. I do agree. I mean, I think whether Christian or not,
For sure.
I mean, I think there's a lot of cultures and religions based off of cultures, like in Nepal. I mean, it's
Hindu.
It's very heavily Hindu, right? A lot of Buddhists there.
There are Buddhists in Nepal for
Okay.
sure.
I mean,
It's predominantly Hindu.
I was
But
about,
yeah.
probably more Buddhists than like Christians or
Yes,
or like Muslims that you would find in
I
Nepal.
would assume so. I mean, I don't know
Yeah.
specifically, but I would assume so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, but nonetheless, I mean, I think you can find the beauty of respect for other humankind in every
For sure.
in every religion and culture.
and even just a divinity of nature,
Oh, yeah.
like just a respect for the other human that is in front of me right now.
Yep. Yeah.
It's interesting. This was like punctuated to me so personally and profoundly recently. My father suffered a severe stroke about 8 months ago.
Oh wow.
A while ago.
Wow.
And early on, I mean, there's something that happens to you. There's something that happens to you internally when someone that you love so much is faced with mortality. And I remember, I'll never forget when it was looking really especially dark and raw, like it wasn't looking good. My dad was still at the hospital and it was fresh and before he had stabilized, and he's now in a nursing home. But before that, it was looking really grim. And I remember talking to one of the insurance people on the phone, and the insurance person we were discussing the potential future transfer of my father to a nursing home where he'd be able to get continued care once he stabilizes. And so she was talking about, she's like, yeah, well, when your bed is ready, then we'll move your bed from the hospital to this nursing home, or you could, there's a bed available, you could move your bed to this nursing home over here. And when your bed this and your bed that, and I'm like, whoa, wait a second. I'm like, are you talking, when you're saying bed, are you talking about my father? She's like, yeah. When your bed's ready, and she like didn't even miss a beat. I mean, she was so in the like work zone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm sorry. I said, please don't ever refer to my dad as an inanimate object again. Like I love this man, and there's a lot of people that love him, and he is a human being. Please don't call him a bed again. And
That probably honestly took a lot of courage to say that.
it did not take a lot of courage. No. I mean, it is a personal, it's personal, obviously because of my father, but it is a personal pet peeve of mine. I ran a couple of nursing homes for 4 years.
That's right. Yeah.
And so, so it was one of our core values in both that I ran, that we recognize people by name. And we don't say like bed so-and-so,
Room
5B,
25. Yeah.
25B needs an IV changed, or 4C needs their teeth brushed or whatever. Like that is, no. Those are human beings. That's someone's mother, someone's father, someone's sister, brother, whatever. Like the second that we view them as objects, we treat objects so differently than we do humans.
Yeah. It's kind of like a Patch Adams mentality, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't read his book, but I've seen the movie plenty of times growing up. Just loved it, and I agree. I think the idea that you see the holiness, the deity in them.
Yeah,
I guess going back to the Nepal experience there. I mean, especially your own father.
Oh yeah. Well, and contrast this using the same experience. We were back and forth between a couple of different nursing homes, and finally we're looking at settling on this one that we're at right now. And I'll never forget, we got an email from the administrator, from the executive director, and she said, I mean, I'm paraphrasing, but essentially it was like, hey, we've been taking into really serious consideration whether or not your father can stay with us, and there are some complications that make it challenging for my father to be in different nursing homes. But she said, with all of that, we've taken it into consideration, and actually, I prayed whether or not if we should allow your father to stay with us, and I feel like it is the right thing to do to have him stay. And so, like,
wow.
Oh gosh, I mean, like, all of us are just like crying, and this miracle, and just a beautiful, beautiful thing. So what a dramatic contrast. And I don't know what faith she is.
Yeah.
I don't know who she goes to, who she, turns to for spiritual guidance in her life. I don't know. And I don't know if we share the same faith, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, to me, what happened with that was that she saw my father, and she saw us as human beings, and she made it. I mean, how often do you ever hear anyone like that making, like,
especially from a business standpoint,
in a business setting? Correct. Yeah. And I remember feeling so moved by that example, and what a contrast, right, with the insurance.
Oh, yeah.
And almost in the same, I think it happened fairly close to each other, and I was just like, wow, this is such a dramatic difference. And what happens when we what happens when we have something like that happen to us, whether it's something very little or something that dramatically alters your life. Like, my mom and I were just flying back from Denver. Was it yesterday? What day is it? Yeah, it was yesterday morning.
Oh, wow.
Like at 6 a.m. Awesome. And so we get there, and I had been upgraded, but my mom was on a different ticket than me. So they initially told us that she wasn't going to be able to. And so we went up and talked to the gate agent, and I'm like, oh, hey, so I'm here. Is there any possible way my mom could get upgraded too? And she's like, well, we don't have any, we can't really do that. And, because she's on a different ticket class or whatever. I mean, I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many rules, right?
Yeah.
And so, anyway, we're like, okay, fine. I mean, thank you for trying. And so we went and got in line, and she's like, excuse me, sir. About 2 minutes later, she's like, what seat were you in? And I told her the seat, and she's like, you know what? There's a seat empty next to you. Because everyone else has been upgraded that could be upgraded.
Oh.
So I normally wouldn't be able to do this, but there's a seat empty. Do you want your mom to come sit by you? I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
And so she just a simple kindness. And I was just like, so I'm like, thank you. I mean, I don't even remember the last time that happened. And I was like, thank you so much.
Yeah.
That was so kind of you.
That's awesome.
And so I think that there's so many opportunities that we have, whether we're in business or in anything, to be positive, to have positive experiences, to treat each other with kindness, and to recognize again the humanity of each other.
So, not to go back too far into the story, but that gal that was referencing your dad as a bed.
Yeah.
What was her response when you said that?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I was so fired up inside and so emotional about it. I honestly don't remember. I mean, I'm
sure she was sorry.
I would hope that she was sorry, and maybe she said sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, I will, let's give her the benefit of the doubt and say that she at least like maybe I
Acknowledged.
snapped her out of it.
Yeah.
And like come on. And not just like don't refer to my dad like that, but I think I may have even said, and please don't refer to that to anyone else in the future.
Yeah. Well, part of me,
Because it's a pet peeve of mine. How do you, I mean, I remember when we were interviewing people for jobs at the nursing home, and I was like, can you live up to these standards? You know, we want you to smile and have eye contact, call people by name.
Yep.
And if people are like, that's a little bit high expectations, I'm like, okay, great. Like, please go work for someone else.
I was going to say, or grow into it.
Well, yes, but usually I was like, you know what? If you are not already there, like,
Yeah.
and you don't want to smile and look people in the eye and call people by name, that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
we'll find people that do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And those are the people that we want on our team. And it's the same thing with San Diablo. Like, we get like people I mean, one of my favorite things is reading our reviews and people like, yeah, the churros they're great. They're, you know, so fresh, whatever, piece of heaven, whatever. But then they're like, but the team, like, they're so friendly and they're awesome
Yep.
and like above and beyond and kind and whatever, gave me an extra churro or whatever they did. Like, that's the part where I'm like, yes,
Yep.
our team's amazing.
Yep.
Because that's the experience.
Absolutely.
Anyone can sling churros,
Oh, yeah.
but we're creating an experience that we want people to remember.
Absolutely. Well, and I guess going back to the reference of like, do I like Chick-fil-A? And I do, but
It's okay, man.
I'm an In-N-Out guy,
Okay, yeah, well, okay,
and I worked at In-N-Out.
Oh,
so that's
tell me more.
That's a big reason. And it just everything you've said, especially when it comes to the business
yeah.
side, it's exactly the same thing. We're not trained to say my pleasure. You know, I mean,
Oh,
there's,
yeah.
you know, but you
don't have to
smile,
be.
you be
Yeah.
courteous.
Totally.
You know, of course you don't, you know, you basically, if somebody comes back with a burger saying, hey, this is raw, which of course, I mean, the thing about In-N-Out burgers is you're going to have a little bit of pink in there, you know, and you'll
Unless
get
you
that
ask
person.
for well done. which
Unless
I
that's
do.
for well done, yep. And so you'll get that mom that comes over and says, "Hey, all of our burgers have pink in it." And you know what? Oh, not a problem. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
We'll get you brand
We'll
new
fix
burgers
it.
right now. And you stop everyone in
I
line.
love it.
And you say, you know,
Yeah.
the cook at the grill, which by the way, you have to move up to the grill.
Yeah.
You know, and those guys make the most money. And we just say here,
I love
and
it.
within 2-3 minutes, they all have brand new burgers.
Everyone's happy
You know?
and
Yeah.
they got what they wanted.
Yeah, maybe even with a $5 gift certificate.
Totally.
You know?
Dude, I will tell you, like, I'll never forget where I was. It was right outside of LAX, and we were at the Chick-fil-A, the In-N-Out there. And for whatever reason,
That's the one I go to. I go to the In-N-Out, right? I don't know. I always do it.
Everyone goes to that one.
outside
It's
of
like
LAX.
notoriously crazy.
It's so busy.
So busy.
Yep.
So I go. We're there, and for whatever reason, I was in charge of the tray of fries.
Oh,
Okay,
Like
so
to
like
hold it.
6 things of fries.
okay. All right.
And so I'm holding the tray of fries, and I go to like put it on the counter to get the ketchup. And
yeah.
as I'm doing that, I clip the tray,
Yeah.
and the fries go flying everywhere, like literally everywhere on the ground.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my gosh, and like instantly, I will never forget this moment. It was like she was like 5 feet away, 16 years old, employee sweeping. She was just cleaning up after someone. Now she's cleaning up after me. And so fries everywhere on the floor. And she like squats down instantly. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like scooping up all my pile of fries now, right? And I'm so sorry. Let me go get you some more fries. I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So there's so much there to that
Yeah.
story. I mean,
totally.
obviously, like, and you know this because you worked for them, but like there's this, they're empowered at every level to make it right
Yep.
and to delight, surprise, service recovery, whatever you want to call it. They're empowered to make it right. And it also tells me so much about the internal culture of
Yes.
Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
It's like they trust.
In-N-Out.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm
It's okay.
sorry.
You
Thank
like
Thank
Chick-fil-A
you.
better. It's okay.
No. I actually.
It's okay.
No, dude. I'm like a full-on double grilled onions with peppers guy.
Oh, nice.
Of course.
Nice.
No, I'm all in and out. I'm actually, that's why I'm telling this story, because I'm like an in and out fan for life.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
like that just tells me so much about where their values are
Yeah.
as a company.
Absolutely.
And they're going to make it right. And they care.
Yeah.
She cares. She like puts herself in my shoes, and even though it was my fault, she's apologizing.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my gosh, let me go get you more fries." She doesn't have to go and ask for a manager.
Yep.
She doesn't have to like she doesn't blame me. "Oh, that was really dumb," or whatever. And it was instantly this
Just right away.
instant reaction. So the culture, if you have this thriving internal culture where
Mm-hmm.
everyone understands what your mission is, what your values are, what type of experience you're supposed to be delivering on,
yeah.
you've got it made.
What would you call that? I've actually been trying to think of like a key word that says, because you're right, Chick-fil-A has the same thing, in and out.
Nordstrom.
Nordstrom.
Disney.
Oh my gosh,
Costco.
yeah. Yeah, Costco.
Yep.
What would you call it?
Apple. What would I call?
Like that characteristic of that someone is that the company basically has a culture of, I mean, the customer first, obviously, but just not just first, but like, let me fix the problem for you above and beyond.
Yeah. Well, what's interesting about what you just said is that it can come across as customer first, but what has actually happened in all of these companies
Yep.
is that the employees are first.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was actually going to get to as well.
It's kind of like put the mask on yourself before you help other people.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
airplane example, right?
Yeah.
This is, if you can empower your team and you treat your team well and you trust them and you hire well
Yeah.
and you have high expectations of them, everyone wants to be a part of something special. Everyone wants to be a part of something that is more than just themselves and more than just a paycheck.
Yeah.
That's more than just like, I want to make money for this person
Yeah.
or for my family. That is important, but it is not the number one thing.
that's
Everyone
why-
wants to be involved in something that's bigger than they are.
Absolutely.
And
That's why
make
a lot of
difference
people
in the world.
Absolutely, and that's why a lot of people that, even though they may have a job, are still completely miserable because they have a job that doesn't make them feel important,
Fulfilled.
or fulfilled, or
Yep.
empowered to expand. And that's something. I mean, that's honestly a big reason why I like entrepreneurialism,
Entrepreneurship,
entrepreneurship.
yeah.
Yeah, because you get to, I guess, you kind of get to empower yourself a little bit, and then you get to help empower the other people. And that's definitely what I saw. With what's the name of the churro company again?
San Diablo.
San Diablo.
Yeah.
San Diablo.
It's an oxymoron. So that may be why it's hard.
Oh, maybe. Why
so
is how's it
San Diablo
is saint.
Saint,
And Diablo. Diablo is devil.
right?
That's right.
And so I also actually get some. So I go to Mexico a lot,
Uh-huh.
and I'll give out my business card, or we were exploring,
They'll see San
and or anyone that speaks Spanish as their native tongue.
Yeah.
San Diablo, they're always like,
What?
Wait. That's not possible. How's that possible? And like I'm always like, okay, well, we say heaven sent wicked good. And so we kind of play off of this. When I was initially coming up with the name, I was going down the path of the churros are so good, they're like sent from heaven. So I was going down these names of like churro divine, saint churro, holy churro, all these kind of holy words.
Oh, yeah.
Brand names. And then I was like, okay. And I let that sit, and I was like, yeah, but they're so bad. And they're so like tempting and
Yeah.
evil and wicked, and so then I was going down this path of like wicked churro, devil churro devil, like all these things, and then nothing. And I was also Googling and trademark search and all these other things.
Yep, you have to.
And nothing was right, and nothing fit right. And then all of a sudden, I just mashed them together. I was like, what about San Diablo? And this was a nod to the origin of the business was just from Mexico, where I had my first filled churros.
Nice.
And I feel so deeply connected to Mexico.
Yeah.
I spent 2 years there as a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Nice.
And then I've been back many times. I've done consulting there. I lived in Monterrey. I lived in Guadalajara.
Cool.
And do the taco tours to Mexico City.
Yeah.
It's kind of like my second home down there, and I feel so deeply tied and deeply. My life has been changed by Mexico and by the Mexican people and the Mexican culture, and so it just seemed to fit as a tribute. And really, it's interesting. Like, so much of what I'm doing now and training and teaching and writing the book, The Search for the Perfect Taco, about brand experience, so much of that is really this celebration and tribute to the principles of the Mexican culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very much, there's so much hospitality. There's so much, like they talk about, they talk about this in every culture, but like making something with love, you know, like when you make the food, you make it with love.
Yeah,
And
I've heard that before.
And there's so much compassion innately in the Mexican culture that has changed my heart and changed my life. And I've felt that all of my adult life. And so it's really fun to be able to highlight some really amazing elements of something. And in a lot of ways, it's my way to give back to something that's deeply impacted me and brought me so much joy and changed me. And all that said, I'm not perfect. I have moments, and many moments, and when I snap out of it and I maybe don't have these, and I need to remember, that there's a human in front of me, or that I need to treat people with more compassion or kindness. So it's, but really that's what this is all about for me. This is about restoring that level of humanity to business. And if there's anything I can do to inspire business leaders to dial it up, to level up their brand experience, and you're going to win. And you're not going to win just because you're going to feel good about it innately, like internally, but you're going to win financially.
Oh, totally.
These are the businesses that will be around in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, are the ones that embrace experience as core to what they're doing.
Absolutely. I mean, look at the companies that we've already mentioned, Costco, Chick-fil-A, In-N-Out, Nordstrom. I mean, as long as Amazon doesn't put them out, which, I mean, I guess it would only really be Nordstrom would be maybe a risk there. But even then, those companies are going to be here for a good long time as long as they keep that as a core principle. Exactly. And I completely agree with you on your earlier statement of saying that it's the employee first.
Yeah,
it has to be the employee, because I mean those are the guys that are the face of the company, and those are the guys that could easily just, I mean, if they're not happy, they're not going to work as well.
Totally.
So
well, and the reason why I even started to become a devout student of brand and customer experience was because I realized that what exactly what you just said was the case when I first started running a nursing home in Rosemead, California, which is right next to Pasadena.
I was going to ask, where did you do it? Because that could be different, from state to state.
Yeah, state to state. I mean, there's so much similarity across the board, though, in the type of experience. I mean, sure, there's like nuances everywhere, but it's still a really intense and can be very rewarding business to be in, especially if you're doing it right and you're caring for people but the reason why I came to this realization and had this like wake up moment was we had a great mission statement and values. And when I first took over this nursing home, I had this aha moment of, we frame those, we tell people about them when we onboard, like we put them on the wall, we say that we believe this, but what guarantee do I have as the administrator, as the director of this nursing home, that at 2 a.m, my janitor or my CNA or whoever's there or the nurse is like hijacking everything that we do when we're there during the day? Like, what guarantee do I have that everyone at every level is engaged and wants to deliver on what our mission and values are? How do I keep them motivated, rewarded, recognized? How do I keep this level of consistency and and empower them at every level to do what that In-N-Out employee did with the fries.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Or to do what, I didn't even tell you about Alpecas and what Ernesto did.
Yeah,
we totally got sidetracked.
We did.
But this is what it's all about. So,
Yeah.
and so how do I make sure that everyone at every level is engaged? And so as business leaders in any business now, like we can ask ourselves the same question. How do I make sure that everyone at every level is delivering on the type of experience with some level of consistency?
Right.
So, for example, when you go to Chick-fil-A, whether you go to North Carolina or in Westwood, California, they say it's my pleasure. And there's fresh flowers on the table.
Yep.
And the manager's breading the chicken and bussing tables. Like, that's what they do.
Yeah.
That's the way that they do things. At Disney, everyone's on stage. They refer to each other as cast members. That's the Disney way.
Yep.
I just read an article about Disney's new Star Wars world.
Oh my gosh.
And, which it sounds amazing. I can't wait
I've
to
seen
go.
pictures and drone of it.
Yeah. And I remember the president of Disney said that they have paid attention to every detail. And I'm like, duh, that's Disney.
Yeah. Yeah.
They pay attention to the details.
Yep.
And so all of these thoughts, so I started thinking, like, how do I create that type of experience at our nursing home? Because at that time we were in an area, our occupancy was half. We were in bankruptcy when we took over the facility, and we had 200 direct competitors within a 10-mile radius.
Oh my gosh.
And we had to do something to stand out among all of these competitors and yet we had no money to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what can we do to create something that was the experience was so special and so different and so distinct from everything else that people get at nursing homes, that people would be talking about it, word of mouth would spread, doctors would, eventually, hopefully send their parents, which they ended up doing. Several doctors did send their parents to us to care for them. That's something that you really long for as in the hospital and facility and nursing home business, is that you want to provide that level of care that the doctors themselves trust their family members.
That's
with
pretty
you.
cool. Yeah.
And so
that's a good point.
how do we get there? What do we do? And so I started studying Disney and Nordstrom and Zappos and Trader Joe's.
Oh
and,
yeah, Trader Joe's. We didn't even mention that.
Oh my gosh,
Louise.
We'll share it.
Oh,
These
my
are some great
goodness.
stories too.
Yeah.
But how I started studying what they've done, and to create an experience that's so extraordinary, and to create this type of rabid loyalty, and raves. And so anyway, I started to pull all the principles from all these different, what these companies do, and it created this system and framework that we've implemented at the nursing homes, at the home health agency I ran, at the airline that we started called Surf Air in Southern California, and now at the churro business.
Surf Air? Mm-hmm. The airline agency? Is that what you just said?
Airline, Surf Air. Uh-huh.
Okay, I know them. I think I got I was on your email list when you guys first started.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. I never used it because
you probably got some of my emails.
I'm
then.
sure I did. That's why I'm like, oh, wait, I know.
Well,
Surf
it was
Air.
just in California. It was
Yeah,
the
it
first,
was only
all you can fly membership airline.
Yeah. Oh gosh, I know one of the guys I knew from Nauvoo, LDS.
From Nauvoo.
Well, he came out to Nauvoo one summer and he added all the missionaries in Nauvoo on Facebook, and then later that next summer he was starting Surf Air, or he was helping out, or
was it Wade Irely, Reed Farnsworth, Corey Cousins?
I don't remember.
Dave Irely.
No.
Anyway, those are our co-founders. So.
Interesting. I don't know if he was a co-founder. I don't know. All of a sudden he was just like, "Hey, we're."
He was
an
evangelist. We love him. Whatever he was doing. Yeah.
Whoever this guy is, because that's how I know about it.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, this is so ingenious." And then I realized, I'm a poor college student. I don't have any money. I can't even do the cheap airlines. So, but nonetheless, that's cool. Okay, sorry, I interrupted. I just
I
know
don't remember where we were going.
I don't either.
But
the idea.
just the framework that's what I implemented in the different businesses that I've been involved in, and it's really become like the hallmark of our success was this really great experience that stands out. Like we would do, everything from training our team at the Ritz-Carlton to just having high standards in the hiring process. All of these things. I mean, from in the nursing home perspective, we would offer everyone a free water when they came in the door, a bottled water, and call people by name, and it was everyone's we would have. So one of the biggest sources of complaints in a nursing home is unanswered call lights, right? Like,
that's a
nurse, come
problem.
help me, and then unanswered or goes really long time without being answered. Huge source of complaints, and rightfully so. And so we would tell our team that because it was everyone's responsibility to take care of our patients, everyone, no matter what position you have in the company. And so my business partner, Elizabeth, and I would tell our team that if they ever caught us passing a call light without answering it, even though I can't give an IV, you don't want me to do that. Even though I can't do all of that, I needed to answer that call light.
At least let them know that someone's coming.
Exactly. And if we didn't do that, we had to give them $20 out of our pocket instantly. Yeah.
No way.
And so you better believe that everyone's watching us all the time to see if we're answering, because your team wants to see if you walk the walk, walk the talk.
Yep, absolutely.
They want to see if you're all about your mission too.
Yeah.
And and so that is something that's absolutely critical. They want to know that you're fully committed as well.
You're not just that guy that says, "Hey, how do I make good money? Oh, I heard the healthcare industry is good money."
Right.
Right. And I'm just going to say, "Okay, I hire all these people, and then I maybe make 2 of them in charge, and then I never come to visit, and I'm going to make half my, I don't know how much, you normally you make, but, I'm going to make my $500,000, or something like that, whether it's just something on the back. The fact that you were there and you cared, and you actually said, "Hey, if I don't do my job, here's $20.
Totally.
Jeez, what kind of morale did that have on the folks?
Oh, amazing. Well, and not only that, but we would, there were a couple other things. We'd tell our team, it was one of our standards. We tell our team that everyone has, I think it was $25 at their disposal to surprise and delight a resident, their family member. We do the same thing at San Diablo. We did the same thing at Surf Air. Surprise and delight. Here's a blank check to everyone all the time, any moment.
Wow.
To surprise and delight or make something right, or that went wrong, like a service recovery. And I remember, I think it was Virginia came into my office and she's like, "Hey, Scott, you know how you said this in our staff meeting a while ago about this? So I spent, $9.52 on crossword puzzles for Mrs. Jones. Wow. And I mean, here's my receipts. Is it okay if I get reimbursed?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, of course." I give her a big hug. I'm like, "This is so awesome." And of course, awesome. We blow this up, put it on the screen, PowerPoint, and at the next staff meeting, and celebrate that she's gone above and beyond. Yeah. We did the same thing at Surf Air. We do the same thing at San Diablo. You empower your people with the principles, and they surprise you. Yeah. There's this one email that I love to share that she doesn't. I don't even know if she knows that I share it, but I'm on the group email for our Celebrate email and on San Diablo Churros, and there was an individual that we were following up with. She had inquired about a wedding, catering at her wedding. And so we followed up, and Camille followed up with her, and she wrote back one line: "I am no longer getting married and in need of your services," and signed it.
Yeah.
One sentence. So Camille responds, and again, I'm paraphrasing. I wish I had it right here to share word for word. But she said, "Dear Susie," I'll call her Susie, thank you so much for letting us know. I'm so sorry to hear about your engagement. I've had 2 engagements break off before, and I know it's not all roses.
Yeah.
So here's to a bright and hopeful future for you. Next time you're near San Diablo, please come and get a free churros on me. Just tell them Camille sent you.
Wow.
Smiley face.
Wow.
So just 2 lines email.
Yeah. And
she responds and she says, "Thank you, Camille. I'll be a San Diablo customer for life."
Nice. Wow.
And what so moves me about that is that I've never said to Camille, "Okay, Camille, anytime someone breaks off their engagement, this is how I want you to respond.
Right.
I've never said anything like that. But what we have said is that we're creating the best food experience in the world. That is our mission. We want to help everyone feel like a VIP.
Yeah.
We want everyone to feel special and experience the joy of food. Like, that is our mission. And so she has just taken that, and that was her interpretation at that moment. And it took her 30 extra seconds to be to show that level of empathy and kindness and connection, even though it was email. Yeah. So there again, it doesn't have to be an in-person experience, but like, people feel you through email, through your voice.
Completely agree.
Like, all of those things, they feel your personality of your company through your website.
Yep.
The verbiage that you use, the pictures that you use, how you're organized, the imagery, all of those things communicate. And 70, I mean, there's like so many interesting statistics, but 70% of us buy based on how we feel.
I completely agree with that.
We buy based on how we feel.
Totally. I'm in the industry of solar, and solar is a great product. It's an expensive product.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not the best fit for every physical house and family. There's multiple factors that it's not just like, here you go, here's just 10 panels. I mean, you make a custom system for them. And we always tell our sales reps, like, look, guys, they're going to buy not because of how cheap it is or how expensive it is. They're going to buy because they trust you, because of the experience that you're giving them. So please give them a good experience.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that they have the full control of knowing the responsibility that they have, because it represents the company and it represents how many sales are they going to personally make. Mm-hmm. So I completely agree with that, because you can't just say, hey, I guess Tesla now has solar.
Yep.
They took up Solar City, and they're just tanking and tanking and tanking. And you know why? It's because they literally have been chipping away the personal experience of getting solar.
Interesting.
Solar City was the largest solar company in the U.S. and maybe even the world. And Elon Musk took it over and just took away that personal experience.
So interesting, because they should have taken a page out of the playbook for the car experience.
I know.
Because the Tesla car experience is second to none.
I know. Well, that's what
I don't even have a Tesla, but I'm longing for that day.
Yeah.
And I've heard like countless over the top experiences. I've experienced it myself. Have you ever test driven?
I haven't.
You've got to set up the appointment.
I've been in them, but I've never driven myself.
You've got to set up an appointment and go do it.
Okay.
I mean, they've completely redesigned the car buying experience.
Really?
I mean, they've redesigned the experience that you have with your vehicle.
Yeah.
Like you've been in one, so you know what it's like to be
a spaceship.
But like it was so interesting when we went into with my dad and my sister, and we went in to do and to test drive it, and we walk in, and not serious buyers at the moment, but super curious.
Absolutely.
And this guy was like, look, and I think he literally said these words. He's like, you know what? It is not my job to convince you to buy this car. And don't worry, like, I'm not going to haggle on any price. The price is what it is. So we have people waiting for this. So, and down payments and everything like that. So it's not like, so don't worry. He was essentially saying, so like, all pressure off.
Yeah, pressure is gone.
Like
those billboards
no
that say no pressure.
Right.
This was a legitimate no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. I don't care if you want to buy right now, but my job is to make you fall in love with this car.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, well, let's go.
Let's do this.
You've changed my perspective.
Yeah.
Like, okay, all bets off. Like, tell me.
Yeah.
And this guy proceeds to like gush over this car like it was his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh my gosh, you'll never believe, like, they decided to put the charger unit here because of blah, blah, blah. And watch this, what this happens when you do this, And I mean, it was unbelievable. And so what they done was completely redesigned that experience. It's similar to what Apple has done,
with the Apple Store.
And all of these companies that have, and people talk about retail going away, but it's not.
No,
it's actually going to be stronger. And this is why. because what has happened is that these big box stores were just sleeping at the switch. They weren't listening. They weren't paying attention to shifts in the economy, shifts in what consumers wanted,
Yeah.
shifts in so Kmart, Sears, like JCPenney, Radio Shack, Toys R Us, like
they
all
missed
of
the
these,
mark.
they've missed the mark.
Yeah.
And instead you get companies that initially started out direct to consumer that are now going to retail.
Yeah.
So companies like Warby Parker or Cotopaxi,
Yep.
or or even companies like you have someone like a Build-A-Bear is thriving and going strong, or like American Girl, where it's this whole immersive experience, and you're creating something that's customized and personal, and it's this high touch experience, whereas all the other big box stores that didn't pay attention to experience are gone
Interesting.
or going away.
I would agree with that as well, because growing up, Best Buy. And I'm a huge tech guy. I mean, geez, that's why I have all this stuff.
All the toys,
Even
I
if
see
I
'em.
even if I wasn't going to use them yet, I'm like, I gotta have them.
Right.
And my wife just nods and says, if that's what you want. But nonetheless, growing up, Best Buy was the pits, dude. It was. I mean, I remember going to the Best Buy down in Oceanside, California.
Okay.
And I remember the customer service was awful.
Oh.
And then I wasn't buying anything. I was too young, but we went in with my older brother and his friend or something like that, and all three of us remember walking out and being like, "That was like the worst customer service experience." And we
Oh,
were,
no.
in like high school,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
thinking like, what? Like, what high schoolers think about customer experience?
But
but you totally knew. And then I remember, just got married. I needed a new laptop. Went to Best Buy. And this was probably like the first time like I had actual money, like, oh, I'm gonna buy a laptop, and it was night and day difference.
Huh.
Whatever
Yeah.
they did,
Yeah.
whatever Best Buy did,
Yeah.
I mean, and sure, maybe it was the store,
Right.
maybe it was the individual, but man, I truly believe that Best Buy listened and they flipped the switch, because now,
Yep.
I mean, sure, I could have bought some of the stuff that I did get for this.
Yeah.
I could have bought online, but I was like, you know what? It's in the store. I'm going to go to the store.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because I wanted to ask questions, and
Yeah.
that was a big thing for me. There's actually a guy named Spud
Look
that
at
works
that.
in the
You still
computer.
remember
Oh,
his
I
name.
totally remember. him.
Well, okay, granted, his name's Spud.
It is Spud.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, like, you're going to remember
Yeah.
a dude named Spud, right?
And I think he's in charge of the computer area. And I'll
Of course
honestly,
he is.
I'll go look at the computers just for fun, and he always.
Did you get a Spud selfie? That's what I want to know.
Oh, next time, I'm like, hey Spud, I talked about you on my podcast, and I'll say I need to take a picture of you, post it
Yeah.
on there. But I mean, he's a great guy, and he definitely has listened.
Yeah.
He's drunk the Best Buy Kool-Aid
Yeah, yeah.
of being a good customer service,
sure.
and I totally believe in the terminology of Kool-Aid, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah.
It's because you got to drink it, whatever
sure.
it is. If not, kind of like at your home care facility is. Hey, if you guys don't want to do this, no problem.
Yeah.
Just go somewhere else.
Yep. Well, the interesting thing, I was just reading, there was an article, I believe it was the Welcome to the Experience Economy in Harvard Business Review. They were talking about Best Buy and the fact that they, like, one of the things that turned the page for them was the Geek Squad.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's a little tacky, but
But it's memorable,
it's memorable.
right?
Well, I only say tacky just because I'm like, well, I can fix it myself. That's
Okay,
why. That's
sure,
why.
yeah. You're like tech
Yeah,
savvy,
yeah.
And there's others of us that may not be as tech savvy, but that they've created this whole experience around like we will take care of you.
Yeah,
This
interesting.
idea of we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
We're not just here to sell you stuff and like one and done, but like we're here to create a long-term relationship with you. And so whatever your tech needs are, our
Yeah.
Geek Squad, we can take care of it.
I legitimately thought Geek Squad was going to die off as soon as I saw it.
I'm kind of with you,
I
but
would-
yeah,
I thought it was going to be gone.
yeah.
I had
but
no.
here we are.
They're still
20 years
here.
later, or
you're-
however long.
Yeah, at least 10.
I mean,
So I don't know.
okay, yeah.
Probably 10. I don't know. We'll find out.
Time flies.
But it definitely does. But you're exactly right. And where do you go when you got to return something? You go basically to the Geek Squad area. And
or where do you
know.
turn? You don't know, and so you go to what the
Yeah.
you go to where you feel like they're going to take care of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree. I had a buddy that worked for Geek Squad, and the only reason why he loved it, and the only reason why he stopped is because he made more money doing something else.
Sure.
But he definitely loved it, and that's the thing too. I see the same people at the local Best Buy for probably the last. I mean, we've lived here for 2.5 years now.
So their employee retention is high too.
I think so. At least the ones that are not like in school or some they're done with school or they didn't go to school. It's the same guy in the TV department too. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember his name. I did know it though at one point. But he's I bought my speakers for my TV and
Nice.
and he was always there.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how's it going? So yeah, absolutely. I think Best Buy definitely is. For me personally, I've experienced them seeing the mark and go, hey, that's what we need to do.
Yeah, they've evolved.
Oh, they've totally evolved. In fact, actually, this Orem store here, they're at least a year ago, they were number 2 most revenue out of all Best Buys in the whole nation. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's just because here in Utah, there's not a whole lot of other tech stores.
Okay.
Like in California, you got like Fry's.
That's true.
I mean, I guess Office Depot and all those places, but I mean, you don't
You don't
go in there.
necessarily think of them as like, I want to buy my computer there. Maybe, but
Yeah, but nonetheless, I mean, yeah, I think Best Buy has definitely hit the mark and made it. And there are a lot of companies that still just miss it. Even to this day, you still see people trying, and it's too late. But some companies come back.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but look at Microsoft. I feel like Microsoft was really missing it for a while. I don't know the CEO's name right now, but I feel like when they got this new CEO, things just stepped up almost right away, and they said, "Look, guys."
Well, they bought like LinkedIn and what else? Like all the Surface stuff, and I mean, I'm not super up on Microsoft, but
yeah. But I feel like at least reputation wise, like Apple was just crushing them.
Yeah.
Branding wise, and then all of a sudden, now people are going, you know what? I think I'm going to buy a PC instead of an Apple or instead of a MacBook.
Yeah.
And again, this is kind of the tech area, but I mean, people, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
If you're transitioning from one brand to the other, geez.
Yeah.
That's
It's
a big
like
difference.
learning another language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about these tacos.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about that. So, one, you're writing a book.
Yes.
What's the title of the book going to be?
Search for the Perfect Taco.
Okay.
Yes.
And you have traveled the world looking for different types of tacos. And
Correct.
And what would you say is the number one taco in the world? What is the perfect taco? Is there a place that makes it?
So first of all, this is a lifelong pursuit. So this is a journey, not a destination.
Yeah.
So we're like, we're going to be eating tacos all the time, always thinking this is amazing, but I wonder.
So there's not
I wonder.
So there's never
if there's one out there, right?
There's never the perfect taco. You take a bite and you go, "Oh my gosh, I found it." There's not that moment.
Oh yeah, of course there is, and that moment happens very frequently in Mexico City.
Okay.
So Mexico City is really like the mecca for all things taco. I mean, it is one of the hidden gems of the world.
Where are tacos from? I mean, is it Mexican?
So they are, yes. There's different styles of tacos, like the Al Pastor, which is my all-time favorite. I want to die with an Al Pastor taco in my mouth.
Okay.
Particularly right now, I want it from El Califa in Mexico City.
Califa.
Yeah. And so if I have to die in Mexico City, so be it. That's where I'll have to die. And because that's
the
what I
taco
want.
in your mouth and hand.
Yeah, for
Nice.
sure. And anyone that's been with me to Mexico City, they know.
I'm
like
sure.
you like I'm usually an under promise over deliver kind of guy, but I can say with a great deal of confidence that you will never be the same once you visit Mexico City. You won't be able to eat tacos the same ever because now you know.
Yeah.
You've tasted the fruit
Yeah.
and now you know. And so but it's so the Al Pastor tacos are the tacos on the spit, right? The stacked meat. You've probably seen it.
Yes.
where you shave it off,
Oh yeah.
the
Well, that's
pineapple
why
on top.
from El Khalifa.
Yes.
Califa or caliphate is a Arabic word. Caliphate was the Islamic dynasties after the Prophet Muhammad came, and so there's different caliphates or caliphs, and
Okay.
a lot of Spanish is actually Arabic.
Right. I do know that they came up from Africa.
So I wonder, I wonder if it's maybe not so much like this is an Islamic,
Interesting.
Middle East, North Africa
No,
thing.
this is fascinating. That I hadn't made that connection before this red hot second. That so the Al Pastor taco comes from Lebanon. Comes from Lebanese
No
immigrant.
way.
Yeah, it comes from Lebanese immigrants that brought that style of cooking from the Middle East, where it's the gyro sandwiches, right?
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
they're stacked lamb and they shave it off.
Yep.
That style of spit cooking was brought to Mexico.
Shawarma.
Yeah, the shawarma
Yeah.
was brought to Mexico from Lebanese immigrants.
Shut up.
And it was like in the
Sorry.
I know, dude. It's amazing, right?
I had no idea.
And I'm so
but
happy
it totally
we made
makes
this
sense.
connection with the
Holy
caliphate.
smokes,
Yeah.
my mind's kind of blown right now.
I'm so happy.
Wow.
This is what happens, man.
Holy smokes.
And not only that,
I just got a
but-
bit of Mexico City tour right here. Wow.
Dude, that's exactly. I'm going to share that now. But the Lebanese brought it over, and then the Mexicans just made it their own.
I
They
love
used
Lebanese
pork
food.
steak,
So good.
and then they have this like it's marinated in achiote spices and all these
Okay,
other things,
yeah.
and people add other things to it. And then they've added the pineapple on top, and they just kind of add their own twists and put it inside a taco shell.
Wow.
And so, yeah, so the taco is originally from Mexico. There's a bunch of different ways that its origin has come about, or that people talk about the origin, but many of them talk about it was similar to what they would miners used to use to
Like coal miners or children
like
miners.
dynamite miners.
Okay. So
like,
so they're under the ground kind of miners.
and they're
yeah.
they put little pieces of gunpowder in like paper, right, and then light them on fire
Yeah.
and it'd explode the rock
Yeah.
around it, and it kind of looked like in the shape of a taco. And there is anyway, so that's many, and the miners used to eat like very simple food.
Yeah.
and
Well, you
so
probably
they
couldn't see it.
Yeah,
while you were down there.
So that's what they think the origin is of the taco. But I'll tell you what, like, man, I've just had some really good tacos recently.
Oh, recently.
Oh yeah.
All right, tell us about
I mean,
it.
like so I was in Mexico with my good friends Jeff and Tracy Kimball, who are actually they're currently missionaries. They're presidents of a mission in one of the missions in Pachuca, and I was meeting up with them. We went to this fantastic restaurant in southern Mexico. We thought we were going to like this residential neighborhood, this really upscale residential neighborhood, and it turns out that it was this restaurant inside this famous architect's hand. I think his name was Barragan, Luis Barragan, and he his house was then converted into this restaurant / library, and we ate in the horse, like the stable where the horses were.
Really? Cool.
And they had put glass over all these original like volcanic stones, and I'm serious. I mean, we were losing our minds. All of that. I mean, we were freaking out. The
What city was
we
this
had
in
like
again?
in Mexico City?
Okay, all right.
Like the shrimp. He had some shrimp tacos. We had this tetela, I think was what it was called. And their like street corn was phenomenal. It seriously, I don't know what it was about this restaurant, but they had this. It kind of tasted like I was living in the Mexican Revolution, and like one of the ladies was making corn, like corn tortillas off the corn that she harvested 5 minutes ago from her field, that she ground for me, that she like made into a tortilla, and like put this cheese and avocado that she grilled on the campfire stove. Like it tasted so organic and real and delicious, and like the way food should
Wow.
be.
That's
It
awesome.
was amazing. And we sat down and we were just like losing our minds. And then we went out for tacos right after. Tracy was like, okay, so we got in the car, we're stuffed.
Yeah,
And she's
yeah.
like, okay, where's the next stop? And I'm like, okay, well, let's go to El Vilcito. So we went to El Vilcito, total polar opposite. Like this other restaurant it was an upscale restaurant. Like they gave us this little, when we arrived, at the really nice organic like horse stable restaurant, we arrive and there's a clay plate. Part of it's chipped, and it looked like this.
Interesting.
This ancient artifact.
Yeah.
From the Aztec people.
on the plate in front of you, on the
plate,
table
like
before you.
This clay plate, and then there was like one single red bean, and it was a colorín, which is like colorín, as we found out, are lucky beans because you don't eat them.
Oh,
So you carry them in your pocket. right? And so they're supposed to bring you good luck. And
does
we're
it get,
like,
like,
we get
squished
this
up or
bean,
anything?
and we're no, because it's hard.
Yeah.
And so we get, and it's like our plate has this like pristine, like pressed white napkin with this colorín, this like red bean, hard bean on it. We're like, what's this all about? We ask our waiter. So apparently the architect used to carry a bean. It was his thing. And so that was their tie to like involve you in the brand, like get you fully immersed in like your experience there in the restaurant, is that each one of you are offered a lucky bean to take with you. And the lucky bean, and then he told us that the architect believed that they brought good luck, so much so that he carried 2 of them with him. So he's like, I want double good luck.
Yeah.
And so it was just this fascinating story that you're like, all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I love this place. They care about me. I'm so lucky now. And like, and then the food. So anyway, so we eat all this food. We're like stuffed, and where's taco stop number 2, right? And so we go to El Visito, complete opposite. Street taco during the day. This place is a garage, like an auto mechanic place, and this place has been around for like 30 years.
Wow.
And they have the al pastor spit there, and we're just like, bring it on. And we just pounded through like another round of tacos, and it was amazing. And we're like standing on the corner, we're putting the salsa, and we're talking to the taquero, the taco master that's right there, and he, we're taking pictures with him. He's making our food right there. He's talking to us about how we like our food made. Like all of this is what you do in the taco experience is like they look you in the eye.
Not a Taco Bell.
No, right. Well, no, yeah. And so
very, very different.
Very different.
Yeah.
And so this is the type of experience that makes the taco experience a masterclass.
Now, of course, we know Taco Bell is not a safe standard of a good taco. But I guess there's no but. Does you take these, I mean, so far, it sounds like these are just literally one-off restaurants, street vendors. Can you make a perfect taco in a commercialized, like a franchise style, do you think?
Well, El Califa, it has, I think they have like 9 different locations in Mexico City.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So they've done it.
And they started on the street. Like I've talked with the owner because I was like trying to talk to him, and like, we got to bring this to America because guess what?
Yeah.
These are the best things I've ever eaten.
Oh, yeah.
And so, but he started on the street and slowly built up his business. And I think there are ways that you can scale and create something that's still really delicious. Yes. Yeah, absolutely. It's possible. We like a recent taco place that I ate at, El Tinoco. No, what was it called? Orinoco in Roma in Mexico City, in the Roma neighborhood. They were a franchise that was brought from the northern part of Mexico, and dang. Oh my gosh, they were good. Like I lived in northern Mexico for 2 years, and man, that carne asada was so good. It was so good, man. I was like in heaven.
Oh, man. Just hearing you talk about it makes me excited.
I'm so hungry.
Jeez.
I'm like dying for some tacos right now. We got to go to fourth meal after this podcast,
seriously.
man. Like, where are our priorities?
Oh, seriously. Oh, my gosh. I think it'd definitely do for some tacos after this.
Oh, man.
That's crazy. Okay, so the tacos, you've had delicious tacos.
Yeah. I've had really bad tacos too.
Okay. Where are the bad? I mean, besides Taco Bell.
Oh, don't make me do that. But there's, you know what? And this may sound really weird.
You can't say anything bad, can you, about tacos?
No, but it pains me to know, like, it's so difficult to even talk about.
Okay, it's that kind of or not resentment, but hesitation.
No, I mean, I think it's just irresponsible. I mean, if you're creating tacos, you have a certain level of responsibility to humanity to make them good. Like, I'm sorry, if your tacos aren't good, like you're just, that is complete disregard for the namaste mentality.
Yes.
So
I've had my fair share of those
I know
in San Diego, where you're just like,
dude, and it's the worst experience.
Yeah,
it's even worse when you're traveling, especially if you're in Mexico City and you have a bad taco. You're like ticked.
Yeah.
Because you have a limited number of meals every day. And so you can only eat so much. And
Yeah.
like if you wasted your stomach space on a subpar taco, forget it.
That's the same for me with Thai curry.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Thai.
Oh,
Thai.
that's my next favorite food.
Thai?
After Mexican is
Oh, really?
Thai. Oh,
Thai
yeah.
and Indian. I'm like, they've got an Indian restaurant here. Let's do it. and then you walk out and you're like, man, that was so bad. And you're like,
Ooh.
why would I ever not go to the one that I know is so
Yeah.
good? But because you want to try
You
something
want to try
new.
it. I know.
You
I
gotta
get
try
it. I get
you
it.
gotta try it.
But
And-
the thing is, here, I'm going to give you a tip.
Please.
So, and this isn't necessarily always true because there are times when I'll just tell you the tip. So, first of all, like one of my telltale signs for Mexican restaurants, caliber and like level of like care for humanity that they have is I'll ask, what color is the cheese? If it's orange, like just turn around and find another place. Because they don't care enough. Because in Mexico, you don't use orange cheese.
What color is it? What
It's
should it be?
white. Come on. Like, if there's any contributions to society that I can provide, it's like helping educate people as to what a taco should be. And like, and it just don't. Okay, so and here's the caveat, the asterisk.
Okay, please.
Is that sometimes you go to places with that have amazing care and like love food. They're like experimenting with like more upscale versions, and they'll do like, I was just at Torchy's for the first time. Finally, like everyone in Texas tells me I got to go to Torchy's all the time, and I just went in Denver and it was terrific. I had an amazing experience.
Nice.
But they're not like authentic Mexican tacos. They're like
Right.
they're like fusion. They're like Tex-Mex, Gringo-ish tacos, but they're still very good.
Right.
And so, and even in one of my new favorite places, Guerrilla Tacos in East LA, they have Pocho Taco, which is basically like a glorified, upscaled Taco Bell taco. So it's a hard shell, like Taco Bell, but it's ground. I think it's ground pork belly, and then it's this like aged Vermont cheddar, whatever, something delicious, and then all these great sauces on it. And so it's like it's an upscale version of the Americanized taco with the orange cheese.
Interesting.
And so it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
DJ Wes is the
But it's got the
he's
orange-
a famous
orange
DJ,
cheese.
but it's got the orange cheese. So that's the caveat,
Yeah.
is that if it's done well and if it's done on purpose, not as like, oh, we got to gringofy this for the American
Interesting.
palate.
Yeah.
No. Like, then just go away.
There's Miguel's in San Diego area, or in Southern California, I think.
Miguel's.
Yeah,
Okay.
Miguel's.
I need to make note of this.
Go to. I think. I mean, it's a franchise now, and so. And honestly, I feel like it's actually gone down just a little bit since
bad.
then. That's part of the reason why I asked that question. Like, can you franchise a good taco?
It's just a matter of level of consistency with like the fundamentals and making sure that you don't skimp on what is your product, you
Yeah,
know,
agreed.
that you establish that, but then also there's a level of consistency that you can establish with your team so that the experience is also consistent, no matter what size your business
I
is.
can't imagine being a restaurant owner and trying to keep your food consistent because. I mean, you got different chefs. You got. I mean,
tough.
holy smokes! I can't imagine running a restaurant. To be honest, I mean, I can imagine it going incredibly bad. So
It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It's definitely a challenge.
but Miguel's only uses white cheese.
good.
Now
Good
that I
for
think about
Miguel.
it, that's all they
he's
use. Same with their burritos, their
responsible
chimichangas.
restaurateur.
It's definitely Americanized. It's got to be Americanized. But man, I mean,
Hey.
when my wife and I are in town, and we want tacos or
going to
Mexican. We go to
Miguel's.
Miguel's.
Okay.
I mean, it's a higher. It's kind of it's like $20 a plate kind of place. So I mean, it's kind of like a nicer place, special event, and usually go to back to San Diego. It's a special event, so we're going to go to Miguel's.
Okay.
But downtown San Diego.
Yeah.
Is where you want to do it. That's
Taco
the
stand?
No, Miguel's. The
Oh,
first
Miguel's is there. Okay.
that's where I first had Miguel's, and I was like, when my wife and I moved back from Utah to San Diego, I was like, oh, we gotta go to Old Town to go to Miguel's.
Totally.
And then later, after we went to Old Town, found out that there's like 3 or 4 on the way down to Old Town already there, and so we just started going to those ones. But I mean, Old Town's a good experience, and
Yeah.
You know, it's
There you go. The
it's
experience.
the experience. So, all right. So let's let's capstone some of this stuff.
Yeah.
We've kind of been here quite a while. So you've got I guess the question that I'm thinking of, best taco right now in the world. I mean, you've had tacos from like Japan, right?
I have had tacos in Japan and India and Kenya and other places.
So where is the best taco right now?
I mean, it's the same thing. I mean, right now, my best number one taco is the Costra al Pastor in Califa.
Okay.
I almost like when, over the past several years when I do taco tours of Mexico City, we always start at El Califa, or one of the first meals that we have there is at El Califa, because inevitably everyone always wants to go back. And part of it is the experience, and part of it is the food. And it's just like there's a level of attention to detail and attentiveness. Like there's something like they just have an army of people that are waiting to, like, you think about raising your hand to ask for whatever, and they're just like right there.
Yeah.
And
That's
they
cool.
like pour your strawberry juice and your mango juice combined in this like huge glass in front of you, and they're just like so attentive and anticipating your needs, which are all sorts of characteristics that could be amazing. But I mean, let's just talk about the food for a second. So the costra is grilled cheese with the meat, like, so the cheese is on the griddle and they scrape it off.
Yep.
So it's like crusty.
Yes.
So costra
Yes.
means actually crust or scab.
Oh.
And so they like they scrape it off, put it in a flour tortilla, and then you put their meat it has this mesquite grill flavor to it, and I always ask for a little bit crispy pineapple, their amazing guac, and they have this fire roasted salsa that's like a molcajete salsa that's I can't even. I may need a moment. I like, it makes me so sad that I'm talking about it with such a level of detail, and I can't have it.
You can't have it.
And the thing is, that's one of the saddest things about Mexico City is the physical limitations of your stomach. Like, you can only eat so much.
Yeah.
And then you have to like let your body digest.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so, but fortunately, there's lots of really other great things
So
to see.
this actually brings me another question: is why can't we get that quality here?
I know. I don't. Okay, so
Because it's not just tacos. It's not just tacos from Mexico
I
City.
know.
It's
It's really food from anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think there's no scientific research that I'm basing this off of, but I don't know if it's like the air. I don't know if it's the smog. I don't know if it's like but I do, like, I was thinking about this because I watched this special about Parmesan cheese in Italy, and they were talking about the fact that it is the only region in the world where the cows eat a certain kind of grass that only grows that variety of grass or whatever. I can't remember.
And the cows were like a special breed from the Roman era that only this town has.
And so the cheese that comes from the milk from these cows is unlike anything in the world. And so literally you cannot get cheese exactly like that anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
And so there must be something to that. There must be something, like the cows or the pigs in this case with the pork.
the soil.
Yeah, like the soil,
plants
the
are
air
growing
they're
in.
breathing,
Yeah.
what they're eating, like that environment that they're in. You hear of pizza places importing flour from Italy because that's the best flour.
Yeah.
Like seriously, one of the best pizzas I've had in my life was in Japan
Really?
at Savoy.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's been featured on Ugly Delicious, and it's like this. I mean, we sat there and we were just like blown away. There were only about 11 of us in a room this big, and we're just like staring, like fascinated by the precision of this pizza maker in the stone oven. And we're just like, and there's only one style of pizza. There's no other choice. You don't get to choose.
I
And you're
actually love those kind of places.
right? And so it's just
You tell me what I need to
yeah,
eat.
because that is, and they're like, no. This is perfection. You are not changing this.
Yes.
And so we were just like in awe at the level of attention to detail and experience that it was.
man.
It was just amazing.
That's
you know?
awesome.
So I think that, to answer your question, I think there's something to the origin of wherever it is.
And I'm sure, I see it all the time, like especially in Asian food, like the certain way that they make the
The
noodles.
seasoned wok or whatever it is. Yeah.
It's just like I think maybe even the same. We may be thinking the same Netflix show, but like where they talk. I feel like a lot of people talk about those Parmesan cheese though.
Yeah.
Parmesan cheese rolls.
Oh, yeah.
I mean
The wheels?
the wheels.
Yeah.
I've seen it, but there's another episode where this gal goes to Asia and tests out the different fish and tastes out and their noodles and their soy sauce.
Yeah.
Like there's a like you literally ferment it by keeping it in like a musty to make the soy sauce.
Yeah.
Musty wood building, that doesn't get
That's
any
so awesome.
very, very little sunlight,
right.
And you can even hear like the crackling of it, like
wow.
organically like fermenting, I mean,
Okay.
but like
Yeah.
once you've had that soy sauce, the other kind of soy sauce is just nothing,
Yeah.
and
It's child's play.
and I don't know if it's because you can't try it. Like maybe it's even illegal to do that in the U.S. Like why can't you make that kind of soy sauce here? And maybe it's because maybe it's just something that it's a technique that is dying down.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's definitely some. I think you're right. I think there's elements of the air, the atmosphere, but I think it's also technique.
Yeah.
It's a physical technique that the people
Right.
do
Right.
that cause it to be that
Yeah.
way. Okay, so San Diablo.
Yes.
You guys do only catering or catering and events, or do you guys don't have retail right now or brick and
We
mortar?
have, so we do catering and events for like weddings, parties, corporate
Okay.
events. We do unlimited mini churros, filled churros.
They're so good.
Oh, thanks.
They're so good. Especially the mint one's my favorite.
Oh, you like the chocolate mint?
Yes.
That was a seasonal flavor. So we
Really?
always rotate through. We always have our traditional flavors:
Mm.
dulce de leche, Nutella, and sweet cream.
Don't get me wrong; they're all amazing.
No, no, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad you like them.
I'm just a minty kind of guy.
You're a minty kind of guy, and I'm so glad you had them during that time of year because we don't offer the chocolate mint very often.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but we could do it for you whenever. So
Well,
we'll make
that just makes it like, well, I've got to come to each different season, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
We got to keep you coming back. So right, we rotate through seasonal flavors. So at that. Right now we have a raspberry, a lemon curd, and a coconut cream, and like in the in the fall. Oh no!
Does this sound good? Are you hungry? I think we have to get tacos after this.
Oh, that's amazing. That reaction. We've talked about, so Tracy, who helped me start the business, she has been with us the whole time, and actually she just had twins. So
Wow.
She's
Congratulations
a
to her.
new
Good
double
luck.
mom. Yeah. She's amazing. And, we talk about capturing that like first moment reaction when people eat the churros, because it's that like, it's like the rolling of the eyes. It's like the closing of, it's like the, I need a moment kind of like all of
Just
those,
let it
like,
sit.
like we want to capture that first bite. We want to, and I think eventually we'll have to do that. Get like a hidden camera and try and capture first bite moments. So anyway, that would reminded me of first bite moment when I just mentioned, was it lemon curd?
The raspberry.
Oh, the raspberry.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Yeah. See, everyone has their,
Really. Mint chocolate sounds pretty good.
so everyone has their thing, but in the fall we do like a pumpkin cheesecake, a caramel apple. In the winter we do a gingerbread cookie butter, peppermint cream. Oh, you maybe would like the peppermint cream. We crush candy canes. Do you like candy canes?
I do.
Candy cane
I
guy?
like that little flake of
flakes.
minty
Okay.
peppermint.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I like that.
Okay.
That's a big thing for me.
So we can do anything
Like
with
candy
the churro.
cane hot chocolate. Oh,
You're
yeah.
in.
All day.
Okay.
Or mint.
Anything
Or
mint.
mint hot chocolate.
Okay.
Yeah, but not mint gum. I get over that really quick.
Really?
Anyway, that's just I think it's just the
What
gum.
are you, a fruity gum guy?
No. I'm a mint gum guy, but I get over it real quickly,
Oh.
which is probably good because then I'd have gum all day. Because I love mint. Like you give me those like if you go into a restaurant
They have the
or
mints on your way
business.
out.
Oh my gosh, I'll grab like
Handful.
5.
Okay.
I've got a problem.
No, it's okay.
got
I
a
mean,
problem.
if that's your biggest problem, I think you're golden.
It's not my biggest problem, but I'll take it.
If mint overdose is like your biggest problem, like, dude,
Yeah.
you got it made.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Okay, so you've got different flavors. So how?
oh, sorry, you were asking. So catering, special events, weddings, parties,
Yep.
all of that. Then we also have a food truck, and we do fairs
Okay.
and festivals. So
Nice.
Right now we're in like heavy fair and festival season.
yeah, summer
Like this
starting.
weekend, I think we have like 15 events going on.
Okay.
There's so we're there. We've introduced, like, for us, the churro is a blank slate. We like to be creative. We have two kind of new and creative things, but churro fried banana split.
Oh man.
So we slice the banana lengthwise, coat both sides in churro dough, deep fry them.
Yep.
Coat them in cinnamon sugar. We freshly grind our cinnamon, mix it with the sugar. 3 scoops of Rockwell ice cream, real whipped cream, and a cherry on top. I mean, it's like this blow your mind, epic shared
Sounds
dessert.
very not exact, but very similar. I think there's like a deep fried churro ice cream thing at the San Diego State or San Diego County Fair.
Interesting.
Yeah, they love
That's
their
good.
deep frying stuff
yeah.
over there.
Cool.
It's a problem actually.
down.
If you think
Yeah.
my mince is a problem, their
Yeah.
deep frying problem thing is their problem.
Well, so here's another thing we're doing savory, though. We do possibly the world's first bacon wrapped churro dog on a stick. And
I've got a bacon problem too.
You have bacon problem.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm glad we're friends because we can just feed all of your habits.
I will buy a pack of bacon, and if I open it, I go, well, the chances of it getting spoiled is significantly high. You got to cook the whole
of course.
thing.
You got to take care of that.
Yeah, and especially if I'm being bachelor for the day or the week, or
Well, and sometimes you just need to eat a pound of bacon.
Yes.
Sometimes it's just
So
it's
you're
like a need.
So you have it wrapped around your churros. Does it have mint on it?
No.
Oh.
Around a dog.
Oh.
So we have like the 8-inch all beef dog. We wrap 2 slices of bacon around it. Cook it so that the bacon's crispy, and then we chill it, and then we coat it in churro dough, and then we chill that, and then we deep fry the dog in
He's dying over here.
I know. Oh man! So we deep fry the dog, and then it's pretty. I mean, we serve it with the defibrillator because basically, like,
You have to. Actually,
we make sure everyone gets their CPR certification
at the deep fry like theme of at the county fair. There's legitimately a paramedic.
Oh yeah.
An ambulance.
There has to be.
It's real.
Yeah,
every year it's there.
It's a real thing.
So you do you have that? Do you have it on call?
We do it. We have it on the food truck all summer, and it's super. We just introduced it about 2 months ago, and it's been a hit. And it's pretty freaking good.
Okay,
it's really good. So you got to try it. We have it with the sriracha like mayo. Like aioli sauce that we do. That's kind of like a spicy sauce. So next time you come, you have to go savory.
So can people find where you're going to be located?
For sure.
On your website or
on Instagram and Facebook actually is where we always post where we are.
What's your handle name?
San Diablo Churros.
Okay.
Yep.
Pretty straightforward.
And and then we're also at Macy's. We're at inside the Macy's grocery store.
Wait, what?
In Draper 3 days a week.
Oh,
right by the cashier.
Cool.
We're there Mondays, Fridays, and Saturdays. So
is that pretty? Got some big traction there.
It's been great. It's been a great place for us to have home base. We've loved being there. It's a great grocery store. We've been there since it opened about almost 2 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's awesome. It's been an amazing partnership. We're grateful.
So people can reserve you guys at the website?
Totally.
Okay.
Website is also sandiablochurros.com. Yeah.
Good.
And we'll go anywhere. So, I mean, we're here in Utah, but we just did a wedding a couple weeks ago in Vegas.
Wow.
We've done several events in LA, some house parties and YouTube headquarters, and done some events in San Francisco and Boise. Where else? Columbus, Ohio. We did
Mexico City.
I have served churros in Mexico City. Actually,
do you think your churros
with Convoy
would they stand a chance down there? San Diablo churros.
So, I feel very confident that our churros would do very well in Mexico City.
Wow.
And
even though that's where you got inspired, right?
So here's the deal. So after we launched the business, Mindy and Tracy and I went down and did a week-long churro R&D trip. We wanted to like really dive in and see the ins and outs, see the product that they're using, taste all the churros, like see the equipment, talk to them about like how they make them, everything, like what they do.
That's cool.
And so we ate a lot of food. lots of churros, lots of tacos, and it was it was so amazing, such a fun trip.
Yeah.
And so we tried all the churros, and I will say that, I mean, it may be blasphemy to say, but our churros are better,
Really?
yeah, than all of them.
Hey,
And
I would be
I'm not
surprised.
saying this because this isn't a recipe that I created. This isn't my. I mean, this is Mindy, I mean, it's Mindy and our pastry chef, and so they created the recipe together and perfected it. It's a pâte à choux dough, which means that it has, I mean, it's kind of like a cream puff dough, which gives it that crispy on the outside, soft on the inside. And what happens in Mexico is that they usually use just flour and water. Sometimes they'll put Mexican
Yeah.
vanilla, sometimes they'll put salt, sometimes they'll put sugar, sometimes they'll use pancake flour instead of water. But what the magic is, and the reason why people like it, is because it's a vehicle for the sugar,
Yeah.
or for the filling.
Yeah.
And so that's what you enjoy. I mean, the churro just becomes the shell,
The base.
where actually our churro standing alone is delicious. And another fun fact, I actually don't eat sugar.
Really?
I've
So
it's been
can you
11
taste test
years
these?
since I've had sugar.
Okay, so
refined
you have
white
not
sugar.
taste
Yeah.
tested these.
It's been a long time.
Wow.
So
You have a lot of faith. I mean, I
Well,
guess the
I
numbers
do-
speak for themselves.
I trusted palates is what I like to say. So I would, when we were in Mexico, and Mindy and Tracy are like, they're foodies to the core, and it'd be like,
I
try
just got the
this.
shivers just thinking about being a foodie. Oh man.
That's amazing. Yeah, they would be so happy. So, they're like foodies to the core, and I would always be like, hey, taste this.
Yeah.
What do you say? And I just like trust them. If they like it, I'm like, good. That's good enough for me. Let's do
Yeah.
it. Everyone's going to love it because you guys like it, If they're like, no, I'm like, that's fine. We're not doing it like that, because we experiment with flavors, we experiment with fillings and everything. And when we were eating together in Mexico City, that's what we would do. And actually it was really helpful that I didn't eat sugar, because I would eat just the pure dough, and it would enable me to be able to see the difference between our dough and theirs. And so
Texture and all
the
that
butter
stuff.
and eggs really are, I mean, butter and eggs add such a richness.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the key. And we use real Mexican vanilla in our churro dough, and it also makes a huge difference,
Yeah.
And we use real butter.
Yeah.
We use all the real ingredients. And so, all that stuff really we import our dulce de leche from Mexico, and anyway, so
That's awesome.
all that stuff, it's really important to get the flavor right,
Yeah.
because even if you have, going back to like all the stuff about experience, even if you have like the greatest experience in the world, if fundamentally your product or service is terrible, like no one's going to return.
Right. Oh,
I mean,
absolutely.
fundamentally,
Yeah.
if your churros aren't good, it doesn't matter if you feel like a VIP or not.
That Indian restaurant on State Street, every time I see it, I go, never again.
Oh, there
I
you
hate
go.
to say it, never again. That's the one where I got really disappointed when I
Oh,
went
that's
into
too
it.
bad.
I'm just
Yeah,
like,
I
customer
know.
service, actually, it was really, the food was okay. Customer service was pretty bad.
Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
so everything we've been talking about,
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah.
I won't go back, no matter what, no matter how much they say best rated in Utah County. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not the
Well,
best one.
There's
No matter what. So, okay, so people can find you at sandiablochurros.com.
Yeah.
Your book, when does your book come out?
The goal is next year.
Have you ever written a book?
Never written a book.
Yep, I have
this
no
is
idea
why
what the
this
process
is a
yeah.
goal.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're
Yeah.
figuring this out as we go. I want to launch the book and we plan to launch the book with the National Taco Tour. So
Okay.
a 2-month-long tour across America to find the
what the
best.
freak?
I know
That-
you're invited. Everyone that's listening is invited. Like this isn't all everyone's on the search anyway. So
Yeah.
like let's just
Absolutely.
formalize this and go on a tour together.
Well, we're all
And so-
taco carnivores after this. I mean,
Yeah,
geez.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah. So so we'll tour all the way across America to find the best taco, but then inevitably we will have these amazing experiences and aha moments where we'll be like, wow, that was really amazing. Like I wonder if I could apply that in my business or in my life, with my family, like
So it's
how can
not
I learn
literally
these things?
just taco to taco to taco place. It's life lessons.
Totally.
Turn it.
Totally.
And I'm sure
Yeah.
that's the same with your Mexico tours, Mexico City
Yeah.
tours.
Yeah. It happens all the time. You're like, oh my gosh, that was like they were so kind. That was the most, then you're inevitably talking about, I remember we were in Mexico City with Trent and Ken from Convoy, a group of like brilliant entrepreneurs that go on these expeditions and travel experiences together. And we were scouting things out for Mexico City. We ate at this amazing, like top 25 restaurant in the world sort of thing, Quintonil. And I'll never forget the conversation that we had there where the service was so impeccable and there was so much care and personalized touch to what we were experiencing. Like I remember that there was like 7 courses or whatever. One of the courses was a corn course. And so the chef, I guess he wasn't the head chef, but he was like one of the assistant chefs. He came out and he's like all dressed to the nines, like chef to the nines. And he has this gorgeous basket with like fresh linens on it and had like 7 or 8 different varieties of corn on like at different stages or whatever with their husk. And it was just like super organic looking and whatever. And he just like stands at our table and he's like, okay, you're about ready to eat this corn course. Let me tell you about the corn, all the different varieties that you're going to be eating.
Wow.
And so he like one by one walks through and just like educates us on corn. And corn in Mexico, not only is that, but then he tells us all about the corn. And this was grown like 10 miles away. And this was grown on the roof in our micro garden upstairs and whatever,
wow.
like all these different things. And then he says, but really like corn is life in Mexico. Like corn is the foundation of our diet in Mexico.
It's like the bread of life, but instead corn of life.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. And the Mayans believe there's a book written about, but they believe that man was created from corn.
Huh.
In the Pol Pol Vuh, and Hombres de Maíz is what there's a book written about the origin of man that was born from corn. And it's so corn is such an essential part of Mexican culture and the Mexican diet. And he's like, I grew up in America, but I'm Mexican by birth.
I guess, yeah, by heritage.
By birth, yeah, by heritage. Thank you. And he's like, and I'm a chef and I trained in France and whatever, but I wanted to get back to my roots and wanted to really understand. And so like part of the understanding of my roots is understanding where the food came from and the origin of all this stuff. So he's just like, we're like, what? Like all this history lesson, and he's like personal connection with corn and Mexican, like his roots. And we're just like, I can't wait to eat this corn. Anyway, so we're talking to this guy and inevitably he leaves and we're just like, that was such a special experience, so neat. And then Ken proceeds to talk about that experience with him inspired us to tell us about this experience that he got choked up telling us about.
Really?
With the CEO of Pluralsight.
Really?
With Aaron Sconard.
I was about to say, yeah. Okay.
And so he's like, and he started to tell this experience about how the CEO had treated him with such a level of personal interest with this idea that he had proposed, and it was such this galvanizing moment for him of feeling important, feeling listened to, feeling like your ideas matter, feeling like everyone at every level within his company was important. And so it was just this. So inevitably, these conversations are so organic when you're inspired by people that have this level of attention to detail, a level of the human touch, of like caring. Gary Vee talks about the best marketing strategy being to care.
Yeah.
Just care.
Yeah.
Like just care about other people. Care that, like, you can't fake that. If people feel that you care, they will be forgiving when you mess up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
agreed.
And they will give you they will give you more opportunities to make it right. And they'll understand because you legitimately care.
Yep.
You care about them, you care about your product, you care about making a difference, whatever it is, but you care. And so that's what happens in a real taco experience, is that you feel that from whether it's the top 25 restaurant in the world or the taco that costs 50 cents on the street.
Yep.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's what I have learned through my taco experience and just through my professional experience, is that if we can inspire people by providing a level of compassion, and that doesn't mean that we need to give up the farm all the time. Like, this is just treating people and being empathetic. Sometimes I'm on a phone call with like a customer service representative, and I'm like, I just want you to say, I'm sorry. I just want you to say, this is a stupid policy.
Yep.
I'm really sorry. I wish I could do something different. If I were in your shoes, I would feel so ticked.
Yep.
I just want them to be real with me. And instead they have these canned responses where they showed zero humanity. I'm like, then just be a robot.
Yeah.
Because that's what I feel like is happening right now. And so if we can inspire, this is my hope with all of this, is that if we can all inspire each other to create more positive experiences at every touch point, and if we can do that, we'll raise levels of happiness around the world. We'll raise levels of self-worth.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in a world where anxiety levels are the highest they've ever been. Depression levels, suicide rates. I mean, unfortunately, this is the world we live in. We're so hyper-connected that we're not connected at all.
Yep.
And we're longing for real human interaction. One of the Brené Brown, have you read any of her work on vulnerability and Daring Greatly? In her book, she shares this experience that it's kind of her personal mantra to never be on the phone when she's in front of like a customer service representative, like whether it's a bank teller or a cashier or whoever, a food service person.
Yeah.
And so, but in this moment, she was in the drive-thru, she ordered, and she was like pulling up, and right as she was about to get to the drive-in window, she got a phone call from her kid's school. And she's like, oh my gosh, like my kid's school never calls. Like, is it an emergency?
Yeah.
She picked it up. And by that point, she inched up to the window. She started the transaction there.
Yep.
And she hung up the phone quickly. And then she turned to the girl that was at the window and said, oh my gosh, something along the lines of, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I don't like to be on the phone when I'm with other people. And the girl started to cry.
No.
Yeah.
No.
She started to cry. She said, you know what? I've been working for hours, and you are the first person that has acknowledged that I'm a human being.
Wow.
She's like, I might as well have been a robot being here.
Yeah.
Like everyone's been on their phone, or they've been engaged in other conversation. They've been on the radio. It doesn't, like, you're the first person that's recognized that I'm even a human.
I think even I'm sure she got a few thank yous. Okay, thank you. Bye.
Sure.
But
wrote stuff.
Yeah. I like that a lot. Giving that time and attention. I mean, gosh, just think of all the parents right now with their smartphones. And I've been seeing a lot of Facebook posts about, oh, Dad, I'm so glad that you're sitting next to me. And the dad's like on his phone, and the kid's right there. And of course, I've got a little 3-year-old, so of course I'm thinking about this. And
it's home.
I work 24/7 basically. Luckily I have this now to say, nope, phone's off. But I really need to do that more often with my kid. And not just my kid. I think other people too. I mean, I think
all of us.
I don't know the guy's name, but he says even when you put the phone upside down on the table, it's still on the table. You're having dinner, and or you're talking to someone in your office.
I know.
And even if it's upside down.
I'm guilty as charged. I'm not, just because I believe and share all of this stuff, I am not like I.
Oh, of course. Gosh. The sometimes the best teachers are the hypocrites.
Oh man, that may be me. I don't know.
I'm not saying you're a hypocrite, but at the same time, I think everyone to an extent is.
Yeah.
And if
and we're all learning. That's
absolutely.
The thing. We're learning, and we're all like. We all make mistakes, and we're all trying. I believe in the innate goodness of everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone has everyone should be treated like a VIP, like the special person that they are.
Yeah.
And even if it's interesting, as I've talked with several friends recently about this idea of reverse customer service or reverse customer experience, where maybe the person that's treating you so poorly is having a really bad day.
Oh, yeah.
Probably. What if they're the one that needs your compassion?
Yeah.
And so it was interesting. I was on the phone with, I can't remember if it was Delta or American Express or Visa or something the other day. And I mentioned, I said, I'm sorry that I'm, my responses are like aggravating you so much, or that my requests are aggravating you so much. And I'm like, are you okay? And he said, you know what? Actually, this has been a really, really horrible day. I've had some really tough stuff happen in my family, and I really don't want to be here.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, man. I mean, and it changed me too. And I'm like, you know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you have to be at work, and I appreciate the help that you're giving me, and I hope you have a better day.
Yeah.
And like, look, that things look up for you as you go on. Like, I also have tough stuff going on in my life too. And we've all been there, And so I think just like taking that time and having that like wake up call, whether we're a business leader or whether we're a parent, even each of us have our own personal brand that we're in charge of, that we have stewardship over. And how are we showing up? How are we connecting with people in meaningful ways, even if it's for a split second? Like, we talk about this in the churro business. Like, we'll have lines, at the fair or whatever, and we're trying to get people through quickly, but we'll pause and say, oh my gosh, we'll ring a cowbell for their cool glasses, or we're like, oh my gosh, Tefra, what's that? And like briefly interact with them and express interest and concern in who they are. Yeah. And like, let me get you a churro. Like, what are you in the mood for? And we want to connect with people even for a split second, and you'd be amazed. Like, we have the cowbell. I know that's kind of funny, right? I mean, we all need more cowbell.
Oh,
always.
Absolutely.
But
it's the only medicine.
But we have this cowbell, and we ring it. We ring it a lot when we're at events because, and it's funny. Like, people are always asking us, like, why did they get the cowbell? Can I get the cowbell? And you're like, okay, yeah, totally, yeah. Great hair. You're having a good hair day or whatever it is. Awesome. It's amazing what those little things do. And all of a sudden people like brighten up and they're like, oh my gosh, no one's ever rung a cowbell for me. And you think they just like got an Oscar or something.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's what this is about. This is about little things that make a big difference to help people feel special and important, because everyone is.
Yeah.
Everyone is.
Yeah.
So.
Yep, I completely agree with you. Well, I think on that note, I think man, we could talk all night. Love your stories, Scott.
It's been so awesome to be here. Thank you for asking me to be a part of the first episode here.
Yeah, and Scott Talks. Here we are, two Scotts talking. I think so. We can find San Diablo churros.com.
Yep.
Where can we find your Mexico tours?
Yeah, search for theperfecttaco.com.
Okay,
also.
Search for The Perfect Taco.
You'll see more and more stuff on that. We're going to be doing some taco tours this year, and then releasing the video series Taco Incidents.
Right.
Yeah, where we have
on YouTube.
On YouTube, yep. It'll be on IGTV and LinkedIn and Facebook too.
Wow.
So you'll be able to see really fascinating conversations with CEOs that have done some amazing things and that really stand out and help them be successful. CEOs from all over America. So it's
That's
super
awesome.
fun while we're eating tacos. So you'll get to see like some cool taco places that you want to put on your list, but get some really great secrets of extraordinary brand experience.
That's awesome. Great. Thanks so much, Scott.
It's been great to be here. Thanks, Scott.